Soundtrap array. Soundtrap array. Soundtrap array. Long Fei thought about it for a good 3 days, until his brain almost broke. He still didn't understand. However, just a moment ago, Evil Girl Saints' 2 words that sounded like a soundtrap array caused him to suddenly have an epiphany. He had always ignored the 2 words soundtrap array. The secret of it lay in those 3 words. Evil Girl Saints laughed. Break the array? You broke the formation for 3 days, but you still haven't broken it. Ridiculous, extremely laughable. Xiao Wantian shouted. Long Fei stopped struggling at death's door, obediently hand over the God's Devil ancient case. The sonic confinement formation was created by the ancestor of the evil sound sect. No one can break it. Yet don't waste time. The several sect heads started talking. Evil Girl Saint smiled slightly and said, If he wants to break it, then let him. We have plenty of time anyway, so this bitch Xiet Qin doesn't have time. Ha ha! She wasn't worried, because no one could break the soundtrap array. Even she didn't know where the eye of the array was located. How could he break the formation core if he couldn't find it? Long Fei was not anxious either. He looked at the Evil Girl Saints and laughed. What if I can break it? Ha ha! Evil Girl Saints laughed out wildly and said, Kid, when the ancestor Xiayin created this soundtrap array, he issued the first sect rule. Whoever can break this soundtrap array is the new sect master of Evil Sound Sect. If you can break it, then you're the sect master of the Evil Sound Sect. I can kneel down and kowtow to you. Indeed, this is the first sect rule of Evil Sound Sect. Xietqin also followed. This is indeed the first sect's rule of Evil Sound Sect, and to date, no one has been able to break it. Long Fei laughed coldly and said, I'm not interested in you kneeling down and kowtowing. I just want to smack you a few times. Is that okay? Evil Girl Saints' face turned sinister. The muscles in the corner of his eyes twitched, and he laughed coldly. Sure. What if you can't break it? Long Fei said, Tell me. Evil Girl Saint said, Hand over the God's Devil ancient case, hand over the Dragon Salyer, and hand over that head of divine beast too. War pet space. Xiao Bai said angrily. Do you want me to use my spiked mace to stab you? Bing Hui said, I want to burn her. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Sure. Xiao Bai. Table of contents, Xiao Bai slightly said, Master, don't joke with me. Bing Hui also trembled and said, I don't want to follow this old demoness. I can tell from her that she has a special hobby. I'm willing to die. In their eyes, Long Fei had not been able to figure out the mysteries of the array for 3 days. So how could he figure it out in an instant? They didn't believe it. They had studied this formation before, but had no clue at all about it. Evil Girl Saints laughed out loud and said, 7 sect leaders are also witnesses at that time. Don't let others go back on their words. Xiao Wantian replied, No problem at all. They also wanted to end this early. Long Fei broke through the array? It was impossible. Xietqin pulled on Long Fei's clothes and shook his head, saying, Don't, it can't be broken. Long Fei slowly supported Xietqin and said, Don't worry, I will definitely break it. From today onwards, I will definitely not let you kneel down to anyone ever again. And then, Long Fei looked at Evil Girl Saints and said, Open your dog eyes wide and look carefully. His right arm sank. The divine power revolved. 3 minutes later, a punch was sent out, directly hitting the thick hard rock. Rumble, rumble. There was a deafening sound coming from inside the mountain, but there were no changes to the sound barrier array. The boulder had only cracked, and the crack was only a few meters wide. Long Fei took a glance and thought, It should be possible. At this moment, Evil Girl Saints laughed coldly and said, Is this what you meant by breaking a formation? Ha ha! Useless, are you joking? Xiao Wantian said, Stop wasting time. You should just admit defeat. No one can break the soundtrap array. Just when they were feeling proud, Long Fei threw a second punch. Rumble, rumble. On the second side, an incomparably hard rock was also cracking. The cracks on the second side were similar to the cracks from earlier, which were several meters long. At this moment, the sound wave wall was slightly distorted. Evil Girl Saints' face turned ugly. Long Fei walked to the front of the third gigantic boulder, smirked, and laughed coldly. Soundtrap formation, soundtrap formation. The secret lies in these stones. Because these stones are echo stones. Rumble. The third punch flew out. Another huge rock was shattered. At this moment, the sound wave wall became more and more distorted. But it did not shatter. Evil girl, Saints relaxed and laughed complacently. Did you see that? The sound barrier is still there, and you haven't broken it yet. Kid, you lost. Within the battlefield, Xiaobai said bitterly, we're finished. Bing Hua followed. Brother Xiaobai, have you prepared a wolf fang mace? Qiu Wantian also said slightly, Long Fei, you've lost. Hurry up and hand over the God's Devil ancient case. You lost. I admit defeat. Everyone began to talk. Obviously, Long Fei lost. Because the sound wave wall was still there, it meant that the sound trap array had not been broken. Evil girl, Saints laughed complacently and said, Did you hear that? You lost. Hand it over like a dog, huh? Lost. Long Fei walked forward step by step with a smile on his face. He then walked to the side of the sound wall and faced Evil Girl Saints as he repeated once again, I lost. Evil Girl Saints said complacently, You lose. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei suddenly roared in his heart, 3-rate peerless technique. It was also in the midst of lightning. Suddenly, a slap was heard. Did I lose? Pa! A resounding slap sounded out. The sound wall disappeared. Evil Girl Saints' head sunk. This slap had caused her eyes to shine with stars. Not waiting for her to react. Long Fei slapped him again. Has Lousy lost? Pa! 3-rate peerless technique. It had 8 times the strength. Furthermore, the power of the god power in his right arm was also released. In that instant, without waiting for her to land on the ground, Long Fei took a step forward and slapped her again. Who's the one who loses now? Pa! It was incomparably loud. Bam! Evil Girl Saints was once again sent flying, heavily smashing onto the ground. Everything was too fast. He was so fast that he didn't have any time to react. Just a second ago, Evil Girl Saints was still feeling proud, while the 7 great sect masters were still feeling proud. But in that second, they had all turned into idiots. The sound trap array was broken. Moreover, for some inexplicable reason, Long Fei became the new sect master of the evil sound sect. They were all sisters of the sect master. Long Fei took a step forward, stepped on Evil Girl Saints' head, then smiled sinisterly like the god of death, and said, Is that good? The Evil Girl Saints was angry, completely infuriated. Chapter 5. Thank you all for your rewards, monthly tickets, and a harmonious reading. 8_8484/2356690. Evil Girl Saints was angry. Evil Girl Saints was angry. The dignified sect master of an evil sound sect was actually humiliated like this? 3 slaps. Having been slapped 3 times in front of the heads of the 7 great demon sects. He had never been humiliated like this before. She was unhappy. He felt extremely displeased. However, just as she was about to crawl up from the ground, Long Fei grabbed with his right hand and directly grabbed the dragon salure and held it against her neck. The 2 eyes of the sinister dragon spirit shadow on top of the dragon salure were staring straight at her, as if it would devour her if she moved even a little. Too fast. It was unimaginably fast. Evil Girl Saints' face sank. His cheeks were red and swollen, as he said gloomily, Long Fei, you're dead for sure today. Long Fei said lightly, I don't know if I will die or not, but I'm very clear on whether you will die or not. If not for the sound-binding poison in Xie body still not being dispelled, he really would have ambushed this old granny 2 times and killed her. The Evil Girl Saints' gaze tensed up as he stared at Qiu Wantian, who was not far away, and said, Sect Master Qiu, why are you still standing there without making a move? The heads of the 7 great demon sects did not leave. They were all shocked. How did Long Fei do it? Breaking through the sound array was simply too difficult. If it was that simple, they would also want to break through the array. Because Once they broke through the array, they would be able to become the sect master of the evil sound sect. Qiu Wantian slightly smiled and said, "Holy maiden, don't be anxious." He turned to Long Fei and asked, "How did you break the array? I really want to know." The others nodded as well. For the tens of thousands of years that the sonic sealing array has been in this mountain, even the god's devil ancestor has not been able to break it. How did you break it? Just smashing rocks. I've carefully researched it. Those rocks aren't formation apertures at all. Even if they were shattered, it would be of no use. How did you break them? Rather than saving evil girl saints, they wanted to know how Long Fei broke the sound array. You know, this was the strongest secret of the sound trap array, a secret that had been puzzled for tens of thousands of years. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "It's useless to tell you guys about this matter because I guessed it too randomly, huh? Blindly guessing? Not at all. This was all thanks to the fact that Long Fei had accidentally seen the science education channel in his previous life and found a rock like the Echo Stone. The three boulders weren't the core of the formation, but they were more important than the core. As long as they had the same strength, they could destroy the inside of the rock and the sound trap array." Everyone shivered. Chimei coldly snorted. I knew he was making wild guesses. No one can break the sound barrier array. It's impossible for him. Evil girl, Saints, was completely crushed by the dragon's salure. Especially, the ancient, fiendish aura of the dragon's salure crushed her mind. Even though he was an expert of the level 7 War Emperor, she did not dare to move recklessly. Evil girl, Saints shouted, "Sect Master Cho, can we make a move now?" Long Fei laughed faintly. "Do it? Old demoness, do you think you're still Evil Sound Sect Lord? According to your master's rules, I am now the new sect master. Just now, when I broke the sound trap array, all the disciples in Evil Sound Sect knew about it. You're just an old hag now, you understand?" Long Fei laughed in disdain. As soon as he finished, Long Fei coldly snorted and said, "Right now, I order you to hand over the antidote for the sound-binding poison. This is your only chance of survival." Xie was almost at his limit. One more day at most. If he didn't treat her now, he would really die. This was what Long Fei was most worried about. Qiu Wantian's eyes moved extremely quickly as he looked at Long Fei, then at Evil Girl Saints, and then he thought of the Evil Sound Sect. Evil Sound Sect was the best location amongst the 8 great sections. It was also the place with the densest spiritual chi of heaven and earth. With Evil Girl Saints watching over him and her zither protecting him, his Blood Sea sect simply had no chance at all. But if Evil Girl Saints dies, that was different. The world would be much quieter. It was just a matter of time before the Blood Sea sect occupied the entire Evil Sound sect, and from then on, all of the female disciples in Evil Sound sect had beauties. Qiu Wantian laughed lewdly in his heart and said to himself, "Long Fei, I will slowly settle the score of killing my son." And then Qiu Wantian smiled blandly. "Holy maiden, Long Fei is right. You're just a young lady now. You are no longer the sect master of Evil Sound Sect. There is no use in saving you. If we save you, we will instead split the god's devil ancient case's treasures, don't we?" "Ha! Vengeance Sect leader is right. Previously, it was divided into 8 parts. Now, we only need to split it into 7 parts. Old demoness Xie, just accept your fate." "Ha ha!" The 7 sect leaders all smiled. Long Fei was also sneering in his heart. I knew it would be this kind of situation, filled with greed, basically not putting allies in their eyes. How can the devil sect grow to be like this? This is a complete mess. However, this situation was actually advantageous for Long Fei. At least, if it was a one-on-one battle, he would definitely not be a match for Evil Girl Saints. Long Fei laughed complacently and said, "Old demoness, if you want to live, hand over the antidote." "Ha! Wah-ha!" The Evil Girl Saints laughed sinisterly. He raised his eyes and stared at Long Fei and said, "I never would have thought. A mere lowly commoner actually wants to become the sect master of the Evil Sound Sect." "All right." Evil Girl Saints' body trembled as he said, "You want the antidote, right?" "Sure. The evil girl saints moved and took out a bottle, saying, "This place is the antidote for the sound-twisting poison." As soon as he finished, a ball of flame seeped out from evil girl saints' palm. Boom! They all exploded. The bottle immediately turned into powder, while the evil girl saints released waves of demonic sound. It was like a tsunami. Bam! 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 The entire cave looked like it was about to collapse. Yin Huang Ancestor was shocked. A wave of energy immediately protected Long Fei's mind and his mind as he said, "Protect your mind well." The distance was too close, and Long Fei was unable to endure the impact of the level 7 War Emperor's power, and was directly sent flying, spitting out a large mouthful of blood. If it wasn't for the second saint body, Long Fei's head would explode. Evil Girl Saint's eyes turned sinister. He actually didn't die. "Kid, just you wait, I'll definitely come back." She didn't dare to keep fighting. Because Long Fei still had 7 demon sect masters by his side, she could not gain any benefits. Whoosh. 36 search. Half floating / / equals. Evil Girl Saints turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the horizon. "You dog, just you wait." Her shrill voice still echoed in the air. Long Fei's mind and sea of consciousness began to churn. After spitting out a mouthful of blood, he forced himself to calm down, because there were still 7 sect masters in front of him. Yi Zichen glared at him like a tiger staring at its prey. Chapter 18_8419/2356691. Evil Girl Saints' sudden critical strike. Evil Girl Saints' sudden critical strike. That demonic sound attack was something he did not expect. He thought that the Evil Girl Saints' demon notes could only be released using the demon zither. He never expected that she had actually cultivated it to the point of using her powerful sound to attack. Long Fei was unable to resist it. The Evil Girl Saints escaping was definitely a hidden danger. However, what Long Fei had to worry about right now was not the Evil Girl Saints nor the 7 great demon sects, but Xie, whose life was on the line. Only the Evil Girl Saints had the antidote to the sound-twisting poison. The antidote was destroyed. Xie life was hanging by a thread. If he did not hurry up and research for the antidote, Xie life would not be preserved. Long Fei flipped over and walked to Xie side, gently lifting her up. At this time, Qiu Wantian smiled faintly and said, "Long Fei, the demon which is left. Now, you can hand the God's Devil Ancient case over." "I should hand it over." "Long Fei, if you don't hand it over today, I'm afraid you won't be able to leave this cave." Now, the seal on the space ring had been opened by Long Fei. They could just rob him. The reason they did not do so was because they were worried that the God's Devil Ancient case would not be able to open it. Long Fei's gaze darkened as his anger burst forth. He spat out a single word coldly, "Scram." The expressions of the 7 Grand Masters changed. Qiu Wantian was instantly displeased and shouted, "Long Fei, don't be too presumptuous. Today, either you hand over the God's Devil Ancient case, or—" Qiu Wantian's eyes turned sinister, his killing intent erupted, and he paused for a moment before saying, "Or die." His voice was cold. Killing intent rose in his heart. The others did the same. The power of the level 7 War Emperor was released crazily. Long Fei was enraged. "All right, you want the God's Devil Ancient case, right? I'll leave it to you." Finished. Long Fei moved and immediately summoned his God's Devil Ancient case. The God's Devil Ancient case was floating in the air. The dense demonic qi spread out. The entire cave was filled with a demonic qi. It was extremely strong. The 7 demon sect leaders were shocked, their eyes burning with greed. It's the God's Devil Ancient case. It's an ancient box left behind by the God's Devil ancestor. It can't be wrong. The ancestral note mentioned that the God's Devil Ancient case looked exactly like this. Ha ha ha! They were boiling. Long Fei coldly snorted and said, "Can you scram a little now?" Qiu Wantian immediately took a step back. No one would care about him now. Everyone cared about the God's Devil ancient case. As for Long Fei, where it was cool had nothing to do with them. Xiaqin said weakly in Long Fei's embrace, "It's not worth it. Not worth it. For me, you aren't worth it to do this. The God's Devil ancient case belongs to you." He was incomparably weak. Looking at the weakened Xiaqin in his arms, Long Fei felt an incomparable amount of pain in his heart. He smiled lightly. "To me, right now, there's nothing more important than you. So what if you're God's Devil ancient case? Even if it were my life, I would not even bat an eyelid. Sis, don't worry. I will definitely save you. I swear to the heavens." Long Fei said the last sentence word by word. To him, 100 God's Devil ancient case were not as important as Xiaqin's life. One lives in this world, except for the things one pursues, and something to guard. So what if he was strong? All the people around him had already died. What was the point of being strong like this? The God's Devil ancient case was very strong, extremely powerful. Even the Yin Huang ancestor did not know where it came from, nor did he know its full use. However, in Long Fei's eyes, although he could not take the things, he could only take one life. Xiaqin blocked the attack for him with his life. Long Fei had to repay this debt. He carried Xiaqin and walked out of the cave. Outside the cave, kneeling Evil Sound sect disciples were everywhere. All of them were beautiful beyond compare, like beautiful fairies. Seeing Long Fei walking out of the cave, the leading disciple suddenly knelt down. "We greet the sect master." It was also at this time that all the thousands of female disciples kneeled down and shouted in unison, "We greet the sect master." They already knew when the sound barrier array was broken. They had no choice but to obey the first sect rule that was left behind by the master. Otherwise, they would be deceiving their master and exterminating their ancestors. All of them knelt on the ground with incomparable respect. Even if Long Fei was a man, it would still be the same. That was the first male sect leader in the history of Evil Sound sect. Everyone felt awkward, but they still respected and didn't dare to disobey him. Long Fei's heart was also startled. Seeing that each and every one of these girls was a peerless beauty, he secretly wah in his heart. Every day, they would sleep together without repeating anything for several years. In the past, Long Fei would always laugh like 8B*TCH. Wasn't this the land of dreams that he wanted? However, he wasn't in the mood to care about that right now. His voice was low as he asked, "Who has the antidote for the sound-binding poison?" The disciple shook his head and replied, "Reporting to Sect Master. Only Sect Master can cultivate and cure the sound-twisting poison." "Then do you know the antidote formula?" Long Fei asked again. The female disciple shook her head again. "Reporting to Sect Master, we don't know that every time a Sect Master was born, they would enter the forbidden land of 10,000 yin. The twisting sound poison was also refined in the forbidden land of 10,000 yin. So, without waiting for her to finish speaking, Long Fei immediately said, "Bring me to the 10,000 yin forbidden grounds." He couldn't wait any longer. Xiaqin didn't have much time. Xiaqin's face revealed a pained look and said anxiously, "Long Fei, don't go in. How can you be in the yin field? A man like you will be sucked dry of her vital yin and become a dried-up corpse. You must not go in." The female disciple added, "The Grand Master is a man. The forbidden land of yin is a land of absolute yin. If the Grand Master were to enter, I'm afraid." She didn't dare continue. Long Fei did not care about all this and shouted, "Bring me there." Looking at Xiaqin, who was in his arms, Long Fei said gently, "Don't worry. Long Fei, will bring the person that I want to save back even after entering the King of Hell Palace." Half an hour later, within a valley that was surrounded by yin energy, the temperature here was more than 10 degrees above the ground. The chilly wind was bone-chilling, causing people to shudder. As a male, Long Fei felt even more so. Sect Master, the forbidden land of 10,000 yin. Only Sect Master can enter the forbidden area of our Evil Sound sect. We do not have the qualifications. Long Fei placed Xiaqin in the disciple's embrace and said, "Take good care of him. There's more. Be careful before I come out." If the sect leaders of the 7 great sects were to invade, you all don't have to resist. The person they want is me, so I probably won't kill you all within the short term. If they are violent and bloodthirsty, then you will directly enter the forbidden land of Een. This is my order, do you understand? The sect heads of the 7 sects were a hidden danger. If evil girl saints fled, they would definitely make a move against him. Baidu's sister-in-law, AA Half. Floating life, strongest upgrade system, and the God's Devil ancient case. They couldn't open it at all. Was it so easy to obtain Long Fei's things? After instructing everything, Long Fei stepped into the 10,000 Een forbidden land. Chapter 28_8419/2356692. Rumble, 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 rumble. Half an hour later, the mountain of the sound trap array suddenly collapsed. A black shadow soared into the sky and disappeared into the horizon. The magic box is mine. Boom! With a bellow, the 7 figures transformed into 7 beams of light before disappearing into the horizon. In midair, Qiu Wantian was enraged. Gone, gone, the magic box is gone. Old fart, it's all your fault. If you didn't fight with me over it, would the God's Devil ancient case have disappeared? Humph! Qiu Wantian, if it wasn't for you wanting to take everything for yourself, would such a situation have occurred? Old Devil Shadow, don't say you don't want to keep it for yourself. Humph! God's Devil ancient case. All of God's Devil ancestors' soul treasures are inside. Who doesn't want to take them all for themselves? You guys touched your conscience and said, who doesn't want to take them all? Ha ha! Conscience? What is conscience? Can you eat it? As a devil, what sort of conscience do you have? None of the 7 sect masters managed to snatch the God's Devil ancient case. Even if they managed to snatch it, they wouldn't be able to open it. In this world, only Long Fei could open the magic box. It was also because of this that Long Fei handed it over without thinking. Qiu Wantian frowned and suddenly said, we've been tricked. The 6 of them fell silent. They all looked at Qiu Wantian. Qiu Wantian continued, we were tricked by that Long Fei brat. He had long planned everything for us. He knew that we would snatch it, and also knew that the God's Devil ancient case would fly away. I've been tricked. How preposterous. Chi Mei from a mountain and C-Sect flew into a rage as he dove down. In half a second, boom! Chi Mei was enraged. His right hand grabbed out a gigantic axe and roared, Long Fei, you dog, get out here right now. The sound was like a monster's. It enveloped the entire Evil Sound sect. The Evil Sound Palace began to shake violently, as if it was about to collapse. Who dares to cause a ruckus outside my Xian Hall? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, dozens of women with a variety of musical instruments flew out from the hall and landed in the air above the training grounds. One of the disciples had a sinister look on his face as he said softly, Mountain Sea Sovereign, this is the Evil Sound sect. Please show some respect. Respect. Umph. Chi Mei rolled his eyes. The giant axe in his hand moved fiercely and hacked down, directly turning the huge training grounds into ruins. The ground cracked and bulged, just like after an earthquake. Chi Mei sneered and said, is that considered respect? Hurry up and call out Long Fei, the dog. Otherwise, I won't treat it with such respect. Chi Mei's forehead turned sinister. He was incomparably furious. He placed the giant axe on his shoulder, his gaze darkened, and roared again, Long Fei, get the hell out here. Stop being so arrogant. Demon Note formation. A female disciple coldly snorted. Her fingers moved and released a demonic sound. It was also at this moment. The other disciples all pulled on their instruments at the same time, and a demonic sound was released. Their bodies were also moving crazily. Waves of demon notes, along with waves of killing intent, formed a huge demon note array that smashed towards Chi Mei. Chi Mei stood in the same place and laughed coldly. Even the evil girl, Saint, is left. How dare trash like you show your fangs and brandish your claws in front of me? You're courting death. Boom! A strange force exploded out of Chi Mei's body. As the gigantic axe fell down, both of his fists sank, and his chi sank within the pubes. Around his feet, circles after circles of sand swirled up, and his body became a mess. The demons are roaring. Boom! The terrifying howls of a monster were released from his body, directly shattering their demon notes. Dozens of figures in the sky vomited blood as they fell to the ground. His face was incomparably pale. Chimei picked up the gigantic axe on the ground and walked out. He walked in front of a female disciple and shouted, "Where did Long Fei go? How can I tell you where the sect master went?" "I don't know." The female disciple responded strongly. The corner of Chi Mei's mouth drew back, and the giant axe in his hand dropped. Pucci, his body was split into two, and fresh blood spurted out from his wounds. Chi Mei didn't even blink as he said darkly, Chi Mei, hate it when others play with me the most." Chi Mei walked to the other female disciple and asked coldly, "Tell me." It was also at this time. Qiu Wantian and the rest descended, looking at the mess around them. They revealed smirking complacency. "You won't tell me, right?" Chi Mei raised the gigantic axe in his hand again. "Descend." Pucci. The head fell to the ground. "Death." Qiu Wantian smiled and said, "Brother Chi Mei, you're in too much of a hurry. You should give her more time to think it over." "Exactly. What a beautiful fairy she is. It's such a pity to kill her. Leave her to the blood refinement sect, and I guarantee that she'll tell us everything." "Huh?" Chi Mei ignored him, walked to the side of the third disciple, and snorted. "You're not going to say?" The female disciple looked away and said, "I don't know. If you want to kill me, then kill me." "Aya." Qiu Wantian laughed and said, "Brother Chi Mei, this is something that we can kill." Pucci. Another axe fell, and that female disciple was killed. The third person was killed. The 13 fairies of the Evil Sound clan were left with only 10 people. It was also at this time. Amongst the hundreds of Evil Sound disciples who rushed out of the hall, one of them was the head disciple who followed Long Fei just now, Xie Yun. Xie Yun's face darkened as he thought to himself, as expected, Sectmaster is right. Immediately, Xie Yun moved through the air and landed on the dilapidated plaza, saying, "Sectmaster Chi Mei, we indeed do not know where Sectmaster is." Sectmaster entered the sound house and turned into a streak of light that flew away. "We simply do not know." Not waiting for her to finish. Pucci. Another head fell to the ground. Chi Mei's lips curved up into a cold smile. "Now, but do you remember? Don't talk nonsense with me. The one I want to look for is Long Fei. It's her new Sectmaster. Now think about it carefully otherwise." While they were talking, he walked to the fifth disciple's side. The sharp edge of the axe was only a few centimeters away from the female disciple's neck. One of the disciples who walked in front of Xie Yun whispered, "Big Senior, why didn't you say it out loud? Breaking the sound trap array and becoming the next Sectmaster? What the hell is he? The position of Sectmaster of Evil Sound Sect should be yours. We still have to protect him and that bitch right now. Why are we doing this? Moreover, he is a man. There is not a single good thing in this world for a man." Not waiting for her to finish, Xie Yun's face turned cold, and he slapped down, "Pa. If you dare to speak nonsense in the future, it will not be as simple as a slap." Xie Yun became furious and said solemnly, "All of you, listen up. Once Long Fei breaks the formation on the master, he will be the sect master of our Evil Sound sect. Do you understand? Apart from this." What moved Xie Yun was that, for Xie Qin's sake, she was willing to enter the 10,000 Yin Forbidden Grounds, which was a place where she would definitely die. Qiu Wantian laughed coldly and said, "Since you aren't saying, then kill. Someone will definitely say that before we kill them all." Chapter 48_8419/2356693. Qiu Wantian's voice was as cold as ice. Qiu Wantian's voice was as cold as ice. Before he could finish, he moved his body and cut off the throats of the remaining 8 female disciples, then pointed his sword at Xie Yun and laughed. "Let's see how many people in your Evil Sound sect aren't afraid of death." Shua. His sword was like a phantom as it furiously reaped the harvest. The evil sound sect disciples welcomed them one after another. They didn't expect what Long Fei had told them to do. Seeing their sisters killed one by one, a ball of fire burned in their hearts. They all rushed forward with all their might. The 7 sect leaders began hunting him down. Ha ha! Little beauty, come play with me. Ha! The head of the blood refinement sect carried a petite, pure girl, disciple, and flew out. Big Senior, please save me. Big Senior, please save me. Eldest Senior's sister. From the building not far away came the sound of tearing clothes, followed by a mournful scream. Ah! Ah! I've always wanted to try out the taste of the evil sound sect disciples. Today, I've truly tasted something extraordinary. Awesome, aha! The sect master of the blood refinement sect smiled obscenely. And then, his crazy sprint. Tears rolled down the face of the female disciple beneath him. She looked as if she was dead and didn't even let out a cry of pain. They were too strong. All of them were level 7 war emperor warriors. They were not his match. Besides killing, there was also humiliation. The humiliation of the soul. The humiliation of the flesh. These sect masters of the 7 major demon sect were not humans, nor were they demons. They were bastards that could not be compared to beasts. Ha ha ha! This is great. This time, I'm going to be satisfied with 2. The sect master of the blood refinement sect flew out. With one step, he jumped into the crowd and easily grabbed the 2 young female disciples and flew away. The female disciple from before had picked up her sword and touched it to her neck. She was dead. His eyes widened. He died with grievance. Too cruel. Long Fei, why aren't you quickly coming out? Ha ha! Your evil sound sects are all about to die. Xiao Wantian laughed crazily. He stared at Xie Yun and said, Are you still not going to say? Xie Yun's entire body was injured. His face was pale as he said, Xiao Wantian, don't even think about getting half a word from me. Humph! You overestimate yourself. Xiao Wantian's brows twitched, and the floating sword beside him suddenly thrusted forward. It directly pierced towards the center of Xie Yun's brows. Just at this moment, a disciple rushed forward, using his life to block this sword. He looked at Xie Yun and shouted, Big Senior Sister, quickly escape. Xie Yun was so heartbroken that she wanted to go crazy. Junior Sister Apprentice? Eldest Senior Sister, run. Quickly run. A complete collapse. How could they possibly be a match for the 7 sect masters? Their cultivation bases were too weak. The whole of martial arts arena was filled with corpses. In another building, there were female disciples lying on the ground. The remaining evil sound sect disciples quickly retreated. It was also at this time. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A cold, gloomy sound of a magical zither rang out. Xiao Wantian's mind shook and immediately stopped. Evil Girl Saints is back. The other 6 were also stunned. Evil Girl Saints was also a level 7 war emperor ranker, and the demonic zither in her hands was extremely sharp. Although she was not afraid, she had killed so many of her female disciples. I am afraid. Evil Girl Saints carried his demon zither and descended from the sky. She had not left the cave from the time she came out. She also wanted to obtain God's Devil Ancient Case and even. She knew where the God's Devil Ancient Case was flying to even better than Xiao Wantian and the others. Master is here. Eldest Senior Sister. Master is back. The Grandmaster is back. The evil sound sect's female disciples were all cheering. The female disciples all went up to welcome him with cheers. As long as Evil Girl Saints was present, the 7 sect leaders would not dare to act recklessly, and they would not die. Xie Yun looked at the floating master. Her mind shook and immediately shouted, Don't go over there. Everyone, don't go over there. Not waiting for her to finish. Evil Girl Saints' gaze turned cold. You damn bitches. All of you go to hell. Buzz, buzz. His fingers moved. The zither notes were like a demon's. They formed a saber energy that swept out like a half-moon. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk dozens of female disciples' heads were chopped off and exploded. Compared to the methods of the 7 sect heads, her methods were even more ruthless. Extreme cruelty. Xie Yun shouted loudly. She is not our sect master. Our sect master is Long Fei. In this instant, the evil girl saint was no longer her master, and had nothing to do with the evil sound sect. The last shred of hope had been shattered. Their hearts felt like they were dying. They ran towards the forbidden land of 10,000 yin like walking dead bodies. It was too unexpected. Qiu Wantian never thought that the evil girl saint would actually kill his own disciple so violently. Qiu Wantian laughed loudly. Ha ha! Holy maiden, you really have good methods. Humph! Qiu Wantian, what I want to kill is that dog Long Fei. As for the disciples of the evil sound sect, you can kill as you please. It has nothing to do with me. However, if anyone dares to steal Long Fei's head, I will fight with them. Evil girl saint said coldly. She hated Long Fei to the bones. Qiu Wantian laughed out loud. No problem. There is absolutely no problem at all for you to kill Long Fei. But it has to be said clearly, the god's devil ancient cases. Not waiting for him to finish. Evil girl saint's eyes turned cold. I only want Long Fei's head. Understood. Qiu Wantian was ecstatic. He was worried that the evil girl saints would fight with him for the god's devil ancient case. Qi Mei said slightly, Holy maiden, do you know where Long Fei is? Evil girl saints laughed coldly. The forbidden land of 10,000 yin. Huh. Qiu Wantian said lightly. The most evil place in the entire demon realm. It should be said to be the most evil place in the entire South Horizon region. Men will become mummies if they enter. Women go in. Qiu Wantian looked at the evil girl saints and suddenly said, Long Fei has already entered. Evil girl saints laughed. Don't worry, he won't die that easily. She had been to the forbidden land of 10,000 yin and knew some things about it. The forbidden land of 10,000 yin, the land of absolute yin, was also the most evil. Where is it? Even if she went in once, she wouldn't be able to tell. Because, that time, she had only entered the first level and didn't dare to enter again. Too terrifying. She believed that Long Fei was only at the first layer. A mere level 2 war elder would not be able to enter the second layer. Then the evil girl saint sneered and said, kill all the way through and kill all the disciples of these evil sound sects. Then wait for Long Fei to crawl out from inside. Chapter 48_8419/2356694. The most poisonous thing was the woman's heart. The most poisonous thing was the woman's heart. There was nothing wrong with his words. Evil girl saints could no longer be described as vicious. Her poison had reached a level that no one could compare to. Xie Yun brought the unconscious Xie Qin to retreat and fight. There were only 300 or so evil sound sects left when the entire 3,000+ disciples retreated to the 10,000 yin valley. More than 2,700 people were killed. It only took half a day. Senior sister, what should we do? Are we going in? Senior sister, Xie Qin slightly said. Elder senior sister, stop Long Fei, go in. If it didn't go in, all of them would die. Xie Yun's brows tightened and said, enter the forbidden grounds. Under Xie Yun's lead, the 300+ people swiftly entered the 10,000 yin forbidden land. The evil girl saints slowly descended. Looking at the entrance to the forbidden land of 10,000 yin, he let out a cold laugh. Something that doesn't know its limits. Do you think you can live just by entering? How ridiculous. All you will do is die faster. Qiu Wantian, Qi Mei, Yin walked over. Qiu Wantian asked, Holy maiden, are we going to let them in just like that? We're not going to chase after him? Evil girl saint sneered. If you want to die, then go chase them. The sect leader of the blood refinement sect, Yin Yu, had a lewd smile on his face as he said, what a pity, I have yet to taste that kind of feeling. What do we do now? Evil girl saints coldly spat out one word, wait. She knew how dangerous the forbidden land of Yin was. Even if she went in once, she wouldn't dare to recklessly go in again. Waiting was the best way. Qiu Wantian also knew that the 10,000 yin valley was no ordinary place. Just the evil In Chi alone was enough to make people tremble in fear. Xiao Wantian smiled. Then we will wait. And then there was Long Fei. The moment he entered the 10,000 Yin forbidden land. Xiao Bai Scout. Ice and fire, fly at a low altitude. Pay attention to the movements in the air. Understood. Yes, sir. One wolf and one dragon rushed out of war pet space. Long Fei kept his eyes on his surroundings, and the surrounding Yin Chi swirled around his mind, as if it was constantly absorbing his profound spirit chi. Yin Huang ancestor slightly reminded him. Brat, there's something wrong here. Be careful. Roar. Xiaobai roared. At this moment. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Yin Snake for obtaining an experience point. True Chi is 1,500 points. Energy values is 1 point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Yin Snake Courage. Item, Yin Snake Gall description. One of the items needed to refine the twisting sound poison. Long Fei looked at the system description and his heart tensed up. Indeed, there is no mistake. There's a poison refiner, but there must be a detoxification one. The one refining the poison is the snake gall, then the detoxification one. It must be some kind of spirit grass. All living things are at odds with each other. Long Fei immediately checked carefully to see if there were any special spirit grass around. Half an hour passed. At this moment, boom, a devil's shadow descended from the skies, firmly landing in front of Long Fei. God's devil ancient case. The corner of Long Fei's mouth slightly lifted and lightly smiled. I'm back. The God's devil ancient case swayed gently, as if it had an intelligence of its own, and understood Long Fei's words. Long Fei moved his right hand, and the God's devil ancient case obediently landed on his right hand. Long Fei withdrew the idea and put it back inside the space ring. At this moment, the God's devil ancient case did not enter the space ring, but instead suddenly flew out. Whoosh! They landed in a dark corner and found a young spirit grass with 2 young leaves. Long Fei quickly walked up, looked at the spirit grass that was holding onto the size of a pinky, and asked, "Is this the spirit grass used to detoxify the sound poison?" The idea moved. Through the system. Item. Sound Yuan magic grass description. A spirit grass that can dispel sound poisons. This is it. But this is just a young spirit grass. It doesn't have any medicinal properties. What use does it have? Long Fei was bitter. This kind of spirit grass was completely unable to enter the pill furnace's alchemy. He couldn't withstand the attacks of the true Qi. Useless. At this moment. Once again, the God's devil ancient case seemed to understand what Long Fei was worrying about. A wave of demonic energy was released and directly swallowed the young spirit grass. Buzz. The God's devil ancient case trembled. The box opened. A mature, sound, elemental magic grass appeared on top of the box. Long Fei was completely shocked. Damn, what's going on? Yin Huang ancestor was also instantly in an uproar. I said it can allow spirit grass to grow faster. I was right? Ha. How could a dignified High Lord, Yin Huang, make a mistake? Yin Huang ancestor had been depressed for half a month. Because of this. What do you mean fast growth? This was an instant growth. However, Long Fei and the Yin Huang ancestor did not know that. But that was because the power that the God's devil ancient case used to devour the soul of the ancient devil was exactly what Sidu Feng had said it would be. God's devil ancient case required a soul sacrifice to be able to activate a stronger power. However, he only knew one, not knowing the other thing. The reason why God's devil ancient case were able to grow in an instant was because of the spirit grass that were bred underground in the Blood Sea. During the process of growth, some of the spirit grass's profound chi was absorbed. It was only then that the tender Yin Yuan demon grass began to grow. Ha! Forefather, you're awesome, aren't you? Long Fei was also excited. The God's devil ancient case was a treasure. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Yin Snake for obtaining an experience point. True Chi is 1,500 points. Energy values is 1 point. Ding, ding. The deeper one went, the more snake there were. Moreover, they were all 5-level level monsters, and their defensive and offensive capabilities were extremely strong. Ice and fire, you follow me? Yes, sir. Ice and fire rushed down, flames immediately spitting out of his throat. Brother Xiaobai, I'm here to help you. Long Fei brought the God's Devil ancient case to quickly search for the sound origin magic grass. He was the most worried about Xiechin's sound-binding poison, and he needed to hurry up and get out. A few hours later, Long Fei had already found over 50 Yin Yuan demon grass, but just as he was about to leave the forbidden grounds, Xiaobai suddenly shouted out in fear, "Boss, you better come and see for yourself." Bing Wu also took a step back. With his Adam's apple rolling slightly, he said, "We are in danger. F***CK. You are all divine beast. Can't you have some backbone? Even when facing divine beastess, you can't say such words." Long Fei looked down on them and walked forward. In front of him was a ravine. The ravine was a passageway that led into the depths of darkness. 36 O search. Half floating / equals. The two sides of the gorge were filled with bright red flowers. This flower Long Fei had a sense of familiarity. Looking at the gully again, Long Fei's eyes suddenly froze, his scalp went numb, and his entire body shivered. Without any hesitation, he retreated a step and shouted, "Run!" Chapter 5. Table of Contents 8_8419/2356695. Without a second thought, he turned around and fled. Without a second thought, he turned around and fled. Why? Because the ravine was filled with snakes, a sea of snakes. It was a huge snake, dozens of meters wide, as thick as a bucket. This alone was not enough. If it was these, Long Fei would not flee but be excited because these were all experience points. How could he run away? Of course it was to start a massacre and turn everything upside down. Then why did he run? Because one of the snakes had grown half a human body, Lamia, daughter of the devil snake. The snake girl's head was covered with small snakes, constantly flicking her tongue, and her body was emitting a unique magic power. It was extremely cold. Moreover, when Long Fei was looking at the crack, the Lamia was also looking at him. If she did not run, he would become a stone. Medusa? Or the serpents, Cassiopeia? No matter what, Long Fei did not want to provoke him. Those two eyes were staring at him in pain. At the very least, he did not want to provoke him right now. Xiaobai caught up and asked, "Master, what's wrong?" Icefire said, "Master, you aren't scared, are you?" "Scared? Fuck, will I be scared?" Long Fei immediately pretended to be very fierce. "I don't want to kill innocent people. Everything in the world has life. It's not good to kill too many people." Umeba. Scared? Would Long Fei say that in his previous life, he suffered from the fear of being possessed by the Lamia? He liked to play online games, and he also played competitive games. Naturally, he had played the same game in the 101s, and it wasn't bad, but he had met the disgusting Lamia before. From then on, he had the fear of being possessed by the Lamia. He tried to avoid her as much as he could, but he couldn't. Every time, it was black and white TV. Very annoying. It wasn't that his mechanics were bad, nor was it anything else. It was just that in his heart, there was truly a fear, the fear of being able to kill an infinite number of people. Thus, when he saw the snake girl in the ravine, he immediately thought of the snake girl in the 1010. The fear in his heart once again surged to his heart. Huff! Long Fei exhaled and cursed in his heart. Damn, I didn't think that I would bring all the fear I had from my previous life here. After running for about 10 minutes, after confirming that no snakes were chasing after them, Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief. Xiaobai asked, "Master, what do we do now?" Ice and Fire also said, "That gully is also a passage to the second level. Moreover, Master, did you see the flowers on the wall that were drenched in blood?" Flowers? That flower immediately appeared in Long Fei's mind. His mind shivered as he thought to himself, "I believe it has sounded out. That is a blood orchid from a movie about the python's calamity, and it has the effect of prolonging one's lifespan. In the movie, the snakes only grow like big trees after eating that flower. Long Fei nodded and said, I see it. Ice and fire. Do you recognize it? Bing Hua said slightly, I'm not sure, but if it is, it should be a flower of life and death, also known as the equinox flower. This kind of flower's power is extremely strong. The snakes didn't rush out because of the flowers. Those flowers are about to mature. They will only bloom for a minute, and if you miss this minute, they will wither and lose all their strength. It will take you thousands of years to flower again, and this kind of flower only blooms in the Yin field, and is said to be the place where life and death are linked. Bing was said slowly. Although he was a young dragon, he had saved most of his memories. In the world, only the Dragon Clan could do this. Only the Dragon Clan knew about these secrets. Yin Huang ancestor also slightly said, Ice and fire are right. This is indeed an equinox flower. Didn't you say you want to refine the sonic twisting poison as an antidote? This kind of flower is also an essential spirit grass. Huh. Long Fei was stunned. So you're saying, I have no other choice? He wanted to concoct the antidote for the twisting sound poison, and he needed to, but if he could not obtain the life and death flower and was unable to refine it, then Xiaqin would definitely die. This way, Long Fei had no other choice. He had to go, even if he had to. Then, Long Fei stood up and said faintly, Xiao Bai, ice and fire. Here, here. One wolf, one dragon, one standing on Long Fei's left and one right, their eyes like torches waiting for Long Fei's orders. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. He took out his dragon salyer, pointed at the ravine, and said, Target, Sea of Snakes, advance. Yes, sir. Yes. Xiao Bai and Bing Hua were the first to walk out. Long Fei took a step forward, and when he wasn't paying attention, he tripped over a rock and stumbled, almost falling to the ground. Xiao Bai and Bing would turn around to look at Long Fei's staggering appearance. Xiao Bai said slightly, Master, are you afraid? Long Fei. Xiao Bai slightly said, If you're afraid, then let's go. Ice and Fire muttered, Brother Xiao Bai, why would Master be afraid? Have you ever seen your master afraid? Long Fei. The two divine beasts sang the same tune, causing Long Fei to want to get angry, but he was sure that there was still a little fear in his heart that had not been cleared, but since he had already made up his mind, then do it. What rubbish are you talking about? Stop my command later. Long Fei shouted loudly and bolstered his courage. When he thought about the great move of the Lamia in his mind, he started to worry. I hope you're thinking too much. I hope this isn't a Cassiopeia, and definitely not a Medusa. She's just a pure white woman, a gentle white lady. No way. Bai Swanjin is too strong. She's just an ordinary demon beast. Long Fei secretly said in his heart. Long Fei and the other two walked for an entire half an hour on the road. They had already reached the edge of the ravine. Long Fei moved, linking to Bing Hua and Xiao Bai's idea, and said, You guys take a step back, I'll go take a look first. He leaned forward slightly, and in that instant, the pair of eyes in the ravine suddenly turned and stared at him. The snake girl on top of her head flicked her tongue at him. F***CK. Long Fei was instantly angered and cursed in his heart. I'm afraid of you when I play games. Why would I be afraid of you in this different world? If I don't screw you today, I will change my surname to yours. I am a wild king fighter. Ice and fire. Boom! Ice and fire soared into the sky as Long Fei leapt onto the dragon's back, spit them to death. Ice and fire surged through his throat as flames blanketed the entire ravine like a fiery bandit. Rumble! Rumble! Flames shot to the sky. However, Long Fei looked at the damage floating above the snake heads, and his heart tensed up. Damn, his defense is too powerful. Ice and fire. Lock onto the target. It's locked. Ice and fire. 9 heavens. Long Fei moved and instantly released the idea. Crack! The sky turned, the power within the 9-layered heavens burst out, and the power beam from the first layer shot down vertically. Boom! Baidu search. Half afloat. 4-digit damage. I'll be fucked. Ice and fire. Prepare the power of the second heaven. Chapter 18_8419/2356696. Ice and Fire Nine Heavens. Ice and Fire Nine Heavens. It contained the probability of instant death and could instantly kill any ranker below the War Emperor realm. However, the impact of the first stage's power only created a damage of less than 2,000. Even Long Fei was speechless. This defense is way too strong. Immediately, without even thinking about it, Long Fei immediately ordered Ice and Fire to prepare the power of the second heaven. During this time, Ice and Fire also grew by quite a bit. Now, he didn't need to forcefully release it. His current power was enough to support the release of the second heaven's energy. The Ice-Fire idea moved, the energy in its body swiftly vacating. It said faintly, "Master, we're ready." Long Fei's idea and the Ice and Fire idea were connected together. Joint attack. Ice and Fire Nine Heavens, second stage. Ice and Fire Thunderbolt. Kacha! A loud sound rang out in the sky as the nine heavens started to madly revolve. Lightning started to wreak havoc as the power within the second heaven activated. It was as if the power was descending from the heavens. The entire forbidden land of 10,000 Een was in turmoil. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Long Fei looked at the pair of eyes within the flames and said faintly, "Blast it for me." Boom! The fiery blaze thunder locked onto its target and struck down vertically. Whoosh! Whoosh whoosh! Huge snakes continued to rush forward, blocking in front of the Lamia, and continued to bombard her. Those huge snakes were directly blown to smithereens. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing leader of the Een Snake, for obtaining an experience point. Truchi X 800, energy values X1. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing leader of the Een Snake, for obtaining an experience point. Truchi X 800, energy values X1. Ding! The system kept ringing. Long Fei was also extremely excited and furious at the same time. Feeling good? Infinite single kill. F***CK. I'm afraid of you now. Hearing the system beep, Long Fei's entire body started to boil, and he was extremely shocked in his heart. An ice and fire-like thunder attack is several times stronger than the one from the Fire Prairie. If touched, it might even instantly kill a War Emperor ranker. So cool. As long as those Een Snake leaders could pounce on them, they would be killed instantly. Not only that, his Ice-Fire Thunderbolt attack hadn't weakened in the slightest. If he locked onto the target, he would definitely attack it. This was a skill. Boom! The lightning that was formed by interweaving ice and fire struck the Lamia's head, but those tiny snakes no longer showed any arrogance. Instead, they let out hideous shrieks. Lightning crashed to the ground. The whole ravine was filled with lightning. Ding, ding, ding. These were all Een Snakes, or perhaps the sounds of the Een Snake's leader being killed. A few seconds passed. A bright red number floated above the Lamia's head. At this moment, Long Fei's scalp felt like it was about to explode. Fuck! What defense? It's impossible for the Lamia's defense to be this strong. She's just a fragile piece of skin. How can she be so valiant? At this moment, Yin Huang Ancestor suddenly warned, "Danger! Buzz!" Yin Huang Ancestor released a stream of power, immediately blinding Long Fei's eyes. The Lamia let out a mournful cry, causing all the snakes in the ravine to tremble. As she shouted, a strong and strange power emerged from her eyes as Long Fei shouted, "Ice and fire." The sound covered the entire midair. Ice and fire quickly petrified from the top of her head to her wings, her body petrified in a flash, just like Medusa and Cassiopeia. Ice and fire. Master! Xiaobai also let out a loud roar. Leaping up with a step, his body suddenly exploded as a wolf god spear appeared in the sky. Shua! The wolf god's lance struck down. The Lamia was also furious to the extreme. Her eyes were covered in a layer of gray energy and aura as she roared again. Wolf God, who was falling from the sky, had been petrified by the impact as he fell from the sky and shattered into pieces. It was also at this moment. Bing's entire body was petrified. If he were to fall down, his body would definitely shatter. Long Fei clenched his teeth, rolled over, and landed under the ice and fire. Pulling the power from the ice and fire, he moved and heavily pulled the ice and fire out of the ravine. Hiss, hiss. The snake's tongue had electricity, and the venom continued to spew out. The moment Long Fei dropped the ice and fire on the ground, he shouted loudly, "Xiaobai, come back!" The wolf god's spear was shattered. Xiaobai was so angry that he turned into a mess. He did not care about anything else as he directly rushed into the ravine, exploding forth with the full might of his divine beast. "Do you want to use my wolf god's spear? I want to get rid of your ancestors." He killed madly. He did not care about the venom that was spraying on his body. He did not defend at all as he continued to charge at the lamia. The sea of snakes in the ravine pounced forward crazily. Xiaobai was engulfed. "Xiaobai." Long Fei's heart tightened. "Fuck. I don't believe it today," Yin Huang ancestor said. "After you kill that lamia, the petrification on Bing's body will disappear. Remember, you must be fast." Long Fei held the dragon's salyer tightly in his right hand and leaped into the air. God's devil blade, autumn water blade, appeared in his hand, floating in the air. Long Fei carried his blades on his back, his eyes like that of a ferocious beast. 3-blade stream. Usho, Wang. 3 tiger-like lines of power were released and heavily struck down. The lamia's huge tail swept out, blocking the 3 sabers. Bam! A scarlet number floated above her head, but at the same time, Long Fei was also thrown backwards by the huge tail. Bam! Smashing into the wall of an equinox flower that was dripping with blood. The area below the equinox flower was densely packed with thin snakes that were as dense as wire. Long Fei moved. Both his blades moved like lightning, and said with a heavy smile, "You're protecting these flowers, right? I will destroy it." Whoosh, 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 asterisk, they crazily killed all the equinox flower. The lamia was going crazy. Bam! It was also at this time that the engulfed Xiaobai's body immediately grew bigger and thicker, shaking a large area of giant snakes away. This is crazy, right? The more crazy you are, the more I want to destroy these flowers. The lamia was angry, and Long Fei became even more furious. The ice flame was petrified. If he did not have a trace of power from Yin Huang ancestor, he would have been petrified as well. The ice fire was in danger right now, and the anger in Long Fei's heart was 10,000 times stronger than the lamia's. When Long Fei destroyed those equinox flowers, the sea of snakes in the ravine pounced towards Xiang Long Fei without caring about their lives. No one paid any attention to Xiaobai at all as they madly pounced towards him. Just like that. These equinox flowers were like their ancestral tombs. Suddenly, a ray of moonlight scattered down. In moon, the in chi suddenly doubled. The temperature in the true valley plummeted. It was also at this moment. Yin Huang ancestor said excitedly, "The equinox flower is about to mature." Chapter 28_8419/2356697. The equinox flower is about to mature. The equinox flower is about to mature. As the moonlight scattered down, the flower buds of the bloodied equinox flower began to move, and each flower began to emit an unusual aura of power. This aura was very special. Just as Ice and Fire had said, there was a link between life and death. It could be said to be wonderful. He really couldn't bear to pull himself out. However, Long Fei, who was still burning with anger, did not care about all that. "I don't care what kind of equinox flower you are. Well, you can't bear to pull yourself out. What wonderful things if you don't let me feel good. I will definitely not let you go." He now knew why these Een Snake and Lamia did not chase after them. It turned out that they were all protecting these equinox flower, the equinox flower that was about to mature. Long Fei pointed to an equinox flower that was about to mature, and smirked as he stared at the Lamia. "Do you want it?" The Lamia's eyes were extremely vicious. However, Without waiting for her to speak, Long Fei slashed fiercely. Chua! The equinox flower was chopped into pieces. Its rhizome swiftly withered, the petals withered, and it immediately turned into powder. There was no aura of power. Hiss, hiss! The lamia was furious. If looks could kill, then Long Fei would already be dead. The entire ravine was filled with snake howling and raging, but no snake dared to approach Long Fei, much less attack him, because Long Fei was stuck on the equinox flower's wall. If one was not careful, they would injure the equinox flower because that was something they had to protect for 1,000 years. It was a sacred object in their hearts. Long Fei also observed this point and silently thought, so, the equinox flower is your weakness. Haha. Xiaobai, kill wildly. If any one of them dares to fight back, I will cut down an equinox flower. Long Fei shouted loudly. Xiaobai was also extremely angry and replied, Understood. At this moment, Xiaobai turned into a killing machine. With wolf claws, he killed crazily, and everywhere he went, not a single blade of grass grew. Ding! Ding, ding, ding. Every time Xiaobai killed a snake, a prompt would sound out in his mind, and his experience soared crazily. Those snake opened their mouths wide open as they rushed toward Xiaobai. Without waiting for them to bite down, Long Fei sneered, cut off a stalk of equinox flower, and said, You dare to be arrogant? Fuck, why don't you try again? The snake leaders immediately retreated, not daring to bite down at all. Yin Huang ancestor slightly said, This is simply a waste of heaven's resources, Sai. These are all good stuff. Long Fei also knew that this was a good thing, but he knew even more that no matter how good something was, it was not as important as his brother's life. Nothing could compare to the life of a brother. Long Fei was just like that. Once he decided on this brother, he would go through fire and tread on water and wouldn't even frown when a blade touched a sea of fire, let alone a mere equinox flower. Even if it was his life, he would absolutely not hesitate. The life of brothers, this was Long Fei. Yin Huang ancestor gave a faint reminder, Don't forget the antidote for the twisting sound poison. Just a tiny bit of the flower petal's power is enough for you. There's only a little bit of time left before maturity. Xiaqin's life depended on this equinox flower. Long Fei's heart tensed up, stared at the lamia, and sneered. You want these equinox flower? If you want it, then smash yourself into the wall. Hiss, hiss. Hiss, hiss. Hiss, hiss. The 10,000 snake seemed to understand Long Fei's words. They all climbed up and flicked their tongues at Long Fei. Seeing that, Long Fei raised his blade and chopped down, causing another large group of equinox flower to shatter. The snake began to tremble. Their bodies immediately curled up and shriveled up. Long Fei bellowed, Why aren't you being arrogant? Continue. Lamia, do as I say or else. Suddenly, at this moment, the uppermost equinox flower had matured, and its flower bud had bloomed. It was like an incomparably enchanting blood-colored eye, carrying with it an aura of death from hell. Similarly, it also gave off the boiling atmosphere of heaven. Life and death intertwined together. That feeling, Long Fei was unable to explain it, but it was as if everything had become incomparably wonderful. More importantly, Long Fei's dragon salure was still a little far from that quasi-mature equinox flower, so it was impossible for him to cut it in an instant. Yin Huang ancestor's voice also became excited. It has matured. It has matured, kid. It only has a minute to pluck before it wilts, and if it's picked early, it will wither as well. Quick, snatch! Long Fei's heart was moved, and his body also followed along. At this moment, the lamia, who had been patient the entire time, also moved. Her body attacked like a ghost. The snake's tongue flicking, she directly swept towards the mature equinox flower. The snake's tongue was like lightning. As long as she caught it, that equinox flower would be hers. She only needed one, and you can completely evolve it. All the snake were staring at her and cheering because the snake trust was already within reach of the equinox flower. The lamia's eyes also shone with excitement. She was also excited. However, the corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, and he laughed out wildly. Do you think I, your father, would go steal the equinox flower? Wrong. What I want is not the equinox flower, but your life. Hold the knife with both hands. Lifting it to his back, Long Fei's idea sank and roared out loud in his heart. Three-rate peerless technique. Boom! S aura suddenly changed. Tightening the space between his brows, his eyes lightening fast as he locked onto the snake girl's tongue that was spitting out of her mouth. In that instant, Long Fei roared, Dragon God's berserk slash. Rumble! The dragon spirit shadow shot out. The blood of the dragon salure flashed. Crack! It hacked down heavily. The Lamia's long tongue was cut off. It was also at this moment. Nearly 3 million points of damage. What an absolute punch. The Lamia let out a blood-curdling screech as blood spurted out from her mouth. Her body frantically struggled, sweeping her huge tail across the ravine. The entire ravine was in chaos. The entire forbidden land of 10,000 yen was trembling. Whoa, a ghost-like wail sounded out. I need you to be sick while you're sick. Long Fei grabbed the mature equinox flower and placed it among the space ring. This one was enough. With just a little bit, he could refine the antidote for the sound-binding poison. Right now, he did not need to care about the other equinox flower. What they wanted was to kill. When the Lamia was enraged, the sea of snakes in the ravine was also furious, and they all pounced towards Xiang Longfei with their lives on the line. Fei, give me some firepower. As soon as he finished, Long Fei summoned his Thunder Dragon Rod, and with a sinking body, he jumped into the crevice of the sea of snakes. He roared in his heart, Thunder Dragon Rod. 10,000 great thunderbolt. Fei flew out from the Thunder Dragon Rod's pearl and said, Elf element. Buzz. The strength of the Thunder Dragon Rod suddenly multiplied. The 8 lightning dragons madly shot out. Chapter 38_8419/2356698. The scene was like a substation explosion. The high-voltage electricity rampaged crazily. The power of thunder and the power of Fei's lightning element enveloped the entire ravine. The 8 dragons angry. Thunder rumbled in all directions. The sea of snakes in the ravine turned into powder. When it came into contact with the lightning, it instantly split into 2. The next time it touched, it split into 2, causing blood to splatter everywhere. At the same time, in Long Fei's mind, the system beep was like a dam releasing flood, gushing out like a torrent. It wasn't ding-ding-ding sounds, but rather wave after wave of rumbling. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing leader of the Yin Snake, for obtaining an experience point, Truchi X 800, energy values X1. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Yin Snake Courage. Congratulations to player Long Fei for defeating Yin Snake for obtaining experience points. True Chi 1500 points, energy values 1 point. Congratulations. It sounded like a madman. This feeling was simply too thrilling. Awesome. Not only were the Yin Snake constantly being killed, the equinox flower on the wall also became ashes. The Yin Huang ancestor shouted, Equinox flower, equinox flower, equinox flower, oh my god. My equinox flower boy, you're simply... This sovereign is going crazy from your anger. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Yin Huang ancestor was so angry by Long Fei that he almost died. These equinox flower were not ordinary things. However, Long Fei didn't care at all. He had already obtained an equinox flower. As long as he could cure the poison in Xiaqin's body, it would suffice. As for the other things, Long Fei had never thought of them before. Ice and fire were still petrified. He had to kill the Lamia as soon as possible. Long Fei did not think about the equinox flower. Within the lightning field, the Lamia constantly let out furious roars. Looking at the equinox floweress that had matured into powder one by one, she directly went berserk. I'm going to kill you. The voice was abrupt and unclear, but it was clear what she was saying. Long Fei laughed coldly and said, Kill me, then come. three-rate peerless technique. Without waiting for the Lamia to rush up once again, Long Fei charged up with the dragon salure in one hand. Then it's coming. Boom! Bedevilment. When the heavenly demon Chi was released, the blade of the dragon salure changed to a bloodied blade, and that sinister blood dragon spirit shadow resided on the blade. Move. Swish. In the blink of an eye, it had already landed beside the Lamia's body. With a slash from the dragon salure, the blood-red dragon god roared out. The Lamia exerted all her strength as well. Bam! Bloody light shot into the sky. Long Fei was flung out. The Lamia also staggered back a few steps. A bright red number floated up above her head. Again. Boom! Long Fei once again exploded out. Boom! Clang! The dragon salure flew out of his hand from the shock. Long Fei was sent flying, and he fell to the ground. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth as his eyebrows shook, and he clenched his fists tightly, as if he had gone insane. Continue. Bam! Bam! Long Fei was no longer afraid of the Lamia hair. Furthermore, the Lamia hex was no longer effective against him. Although the Yin Huang ancestor was angry, his power was still continuously provided to Long Fei and was protected by both of his eyes. As long as he could protect her eyes, the Lamia's move would be useless against Long Fei. Just like in the 101th move, with her back facing the Lamia, only a small amount of damage and movement speed would be slowed down, but it didn't have any petrifying effect. Boom! The god's devil blade was sent flying. The level 4 god's devil body, Long Fei, was also wounded and was dripping with blood. What a pity! I can't wear a Sky Demon set. The demonic set was still in the seal, so he had to complete the mission of being the Demon Lord before he could remove it. However, so what? Long Fei swatted his palm, his body bounced, and rushed forward once again. At the same time, Xiao Bai continued to kill. The system beep in Long Fei's mind did not stop there. 1 hour passed. Long Fei continued to fight with all his might. The Lamia's expression became more and more unsightly. The amount of blood on her head had also decreased by half. 2 hours passed. Long Fei was still continuing, his strength not diminishing by even a little. He was still frantically fighting with his life on the line. The Lamia's health fell yet again. 3 hours passed. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Elder level, level 3. Haha! Long Fei laughed madly. He recovered all of his attributes, recovered his full strength, and returned to the peak realm. Long Fei laughed madly and said, Xiao Bai, continue to kill. Snake Girl, I want to wash away my shame. The anger from his previous life had exploded out. What was this? Infinite bedsheet killings? I'll ride on your back today and kill you. Long Fei, who was in his best condition, suddenly shot out and hugged the Snake Girl, roaring in his heart, 3-rate peerless technique. Boom! With an 8-fold increase in his attributes, Long Fei exerted strength into both his arms, and the veins on his body bulged as his blood-red color wildly surged, and he roared out, Get on the ground. Boom! The Lamia was also severely injured and riddled with scars. Long Fei's sudden recovery of his full condition, strength, and true chi shocked her. In that moment, she let a little bit of carelessness fall to the ground as Long Fei threw her. Haha! Without waiting for the Lamia's resistance, Long Fei sat on her chest and aimed at the 2 lumps of meat. He extended his right hand and clenched his fingers from his pinky to her thumb. They formed a fist. He aimed at that ball of flesh and smashed it down. Boom! The Lamia's body trembled and it caved in first. His left fist punched out again. And then, the storm-like attacks flattened, sank, leveled. And then, the fight turned into an airport. During this period, those Yin snake that were not dead yet pounced on Xiang Long Fei crazily. And Long Fei's entire body was bitten. But he didn't care at all. Make a move on my brother? This is the result. Boom, boom. You want to petrify me? This is the result. Killing me alone without end. This is what happens to me. Arrogant. Arrogant in front of lousy. You're still too inexperienced. Long Fei roared as he continued to bombard the Snake Girl, causing the blood on her head to fly faster and faster. He was getting more and more excited. Prepare your striking energy value. That Long Fei looked at the half-dead Lamia and excitedly laughed. I'm going to blow you up. His fist speed increased. The power was even more intense than before. The Lamia was now stunned by the attack and could not react at all. Punch after punch from Long Fei equals semi/floating life plus, and then again. With all the equinox flower destroyed, she had already given up all hope. Looking at the last bit of blood, Long Fei hugged his fists and laughed. Snake Girl, explode for me. Ding. Chapter 48_8419/2356699. The last drop of blood. The last drop of blood. The final punch. Striking energy value. Release. Long Fei's idea touched her striking energy value. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Woman of the Devil Snake for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Devil Snake's eye. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Devil Snake Blood Vein. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Holy Artifact Snake Sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Devil Snake Core. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the secret skill Poison Casting Technique. Do you wish to learn it? A series of explosions sounded out. Long Fei was beyond excited. Ha ha! Devil Snake's eye, is that it? Is that it? Can you petrify eyes? At this moment, Long Fei was incomparably excited, because these eyes might be the Snake Girl's eyes, which were also Medusa's eyes. Long Fei could not wait any longer, so he opened the system to take a look. Item, Devil Snake's Eye Grade. Divine Level Description 1. Only the demons can fuse them. Description 2. Possessing the power of petrification of death. Once released, the opponent will be petrified. The higher the level of the opponent, the shorter the petrification time. Description 3. Can only be used once a day. Description 4. Upgradable. As expected, it really is the eyes of the Lamia's move. It's just that it's not as strong as the Lamia's skill. Eye of the Demon Snake, it's too exciting. Long Fei moved his body and said, Merge. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully fusing with Devil Snake's Eye. The reward is 100 experience points, 100 true chi, and 100 points. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes gained an additional strand of power, a strange aura of power, and also the kind that belonged to the life and death of Equinox Flower. It was very special, wonderful. It caused Long Fei to be incomparably excited. Now that you have those eyes again, I'll use my ultimate move. The fear of being controlled by the Lamia in Long Fei's heart also completely disappeared. Even the fear from his previous life had disappeared. At the same time, Long Fei continued to check the properties of the item. However, Yin Huang Ancestor chewed on the All-Snake Sword. He looked at Long Fei with disdain and said, You've said it before, give me everything that comes out to eat. What are you looking at? Isn't it just a bunch of holy artifact? What's so great about that? If you don't pick so many Equinox Flower and you get a bunch of them, I won't be able to hold back from getting angry and looking down on you. Yin Huang Ancestor said angrily. Long Fei scratched his head and said, Eat slowly. Ding! The Devil Snake Blood Vein was swallowed by the Dragon Salyer. Long Fei was speechless and muttered, What kind of people are beside me? The Divine Beast wants to eat, the Ancestor wants to eat, the Devil Box wants to eat, and even a blade is eating. Are you trying to eat me to death? Long Fei wanted to cry, but no tears came out. Is it easy for me to kill a boss? Can you think of something for me? Even if you want to eat it, you have to show me the properties of the food. Long Fei started to complain. The only thing that remained of the items that he had just dropped was the Devil Snake Inner Pellet and the secret skill Poison Codex. Long Fei took a look, and then, carefully, as if afraid that the Patriarch would eat his food again, he said softly, Cultivate. Ding! Congratulations player Long Fei for training the secret skill Poison Codex to obtain 100 experience points, True Chi 100 points, and the reward is 100 points. Secret skill, Poison Proficiency, cooldown, rank, Heaven Stage Level 8 description. Releasing this secret skill will cause continuous damage to the target. Description 2, requires poison, can be refined by oneself. Haha. Long Fei laughed shamelessly. He knew a thing or two about poison-using techniques. That was a must for priests, Taoists. I can't kill you. It doesn't matter, I'll poison you to death. If 1 hour doesn't work, then I'll do it for 10 hours. I don't believe you won't die. The best skill to play tricks. Moreover, Long Fei already had the poison, and the inner pellet of a Yin snake was the best poison. This skill is awesome. At this moment, seeing that their boss Lamia had been killed, the few snakes that were still alive in the ravine scattered in all directions, but Long Fei did not stop. The ice and fire had also awoken at this moment. Kill them all. Even one of them will be spared. Long Fei shouted loudly. These are all experience. To be able to level up in just a few hours, the experience points were simply too great. Yin Huang, ancestor, disdainfully said, Brat, feel free to remove the poison from your body. You don't even know where you got your modesty from, even if you get poisoned to death later on. Air, Long Fei reacted, his eyes shining like stars as he became drowsy. He didn't know if he would say it or not. What he said, Long Fei reacted. The poison was attacking his heart. Long Fei immediately asked, Ancestor, how do we cure the poison? The equinox flower. Yin Huang, ancestor, replied in annoyance. The equinox flower was the pain in his heart. Long Fei immediately took out the equinox flower. It was just one stalk anyway, so it should be fine to bite a little. Xiaqin only needed a little. And then, Long Fei bit a flower petal as he lightly chewed on it. And then, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently at War Elder Level 4. It was also at this moment. All the poison in Long Fei's body had been dispelled and was completely unharmed. His head was no longer spinning. His eyes widened. He was now clear-headed. However, Long Fei was dumbstruck. He could clearly hear the notification sound just now, and his power had increased by a lot. He had leveled up. After biting a little equinox flower, he leveled up. What's going on? Long Fei took another bite. Ding! Items that have been used before are ineffective. Another mouthful. Ding! Items that have been used before are ineffective. Immediately, Long Fei was completely dumbstruck. The equinox flower leveled up 1 level. Long Fei crazily rushed towards the ravine. Then, the entire wall of equinox flower had no seedlings left. I want to die, I want to die. I really want to die. Patriarch, why didn't you say anything? Why? Yin Huang, ancestor, glanced sideways at Long Fei and just stared at him without saying a word. 1 flower for 1 flower, 10 flowers for 10 levels, 100 flowers. What am I waiting for? I can turn over the heavenly sect in a few minutes, and Hong Tianjun can kneel in front of me and sing Conquer in a few minutes. Long Fei was incomparably bitter. A max-level chance was in front of him, but he personally destroyed. How painful it was, just as Long Fei was struggling. Floating life. Table of contents, no windows. A++ at the entrance of a valley. A thunderous sound of energy colliding could be heard. A mournful voice sounded out. Sect Master Long Fei, please save us, evil girl saints, and the 7 sect masters of the demon sect. He's charging in. Chapter 5. Table of contents, Undersir 8419/2356700. There was once a sincere love in front of me. That's not right. There was once a sincere love in front of me. That's not right. I once had a chance to instantly max out my level in front of me. I didn't cherish it well until I lost it. Only then did I wake up to reality. If I was given another chance, I will definitely fly straight towards the War King. At this moment, Long Fei suddenly said, what a painful realization. This kind of pain could only be felt when one had lived through it. It wasn't tearing one's heart out or living through it, but rather He wanted to die. Master, I've finished clearing the gully. Master, this place has been cleaned up. Xiao Bai and Bing Hua landed on the left and right side of Long Fei. Looking at Long Fei's painful expression, Xiao Bai could not help but ask, Master, are you injured? Long Fei shook his head and did not say a word. When Bing Hui saw the withered equinox flower on the wall behind him, she was somewhat startled. Furthermore, she was somewhat angry. Xiao Bai, how did you destroy all of the equinox flower? Legend has it that it has the power to revive the dead. This is a supreme Een treasure. I have seen it in the Dragon Clan's treasure scrolls. A rare treasure that blossoms for 1,000 years. Ugh! Long Fei's body sank. Ice and Fire immediately stopped and asked, Master, what's wrong? Long Fei slightly said, My liver hurts. Liver pain again? Bing Hui said, The equinox flower should be able to cure your liver pain, but it's all gone. Ugh! Long Fei's body arched upwards once again. Xiao Bai asked with concern, Master, could you have been poisoned? This kind of Een snake poison is useless to me, but to you. Xiao Bai had eaten spirit fruit of heaven and earth before, so this kind of snake poison was completely useless against him. Long Fei waved his hand and said, I just feel an excruciating pain in my liver. Ice and Fire, don't continue speaking. Bing Hui said, Oh, and then looked towards the deep ravine and the thick stone door. The area around the stone door was filled with the thickest Een aura in the entire valley. She asked, Master, are we going down? Xiao Bai also stared at the deep ravine, his eyes cold as he said, Ice and Fire, didn't you say that equinox flower were linked to the Yin-Yang twin realms? Could it be held beneath this stone door? What a dense, cold aura of death. Long Fei also felt it. Now that the equinox flower and the sound Yuan demon grass had been found, a day had passed. Saving Xie was more important. Immediately, Long Fei said, I'll go out of the forbidden grounds first. I'll come next time. Long Fei took a step and flew out of the ravine and looked behind him at the door in the ravine that led downwards. And it was an incomparably enchanting illusion of an equinox flower in full bloom. The face was smiling at him. The smile was very strange, causing one to shudder in fear. Long Fei thought, there won't be any more equinox flower down there, right? When the time comes, I must take a look. Inside the 10,000 Een Forbidden Land, evil girl saints, Xiao Wantian, Een Yu, and Qi Mei stepped into the 10,000 Een Forbidden Grounds. They waited for a long time. Evil girl saints lost his patience. When she heard the loud rumbles coming from the forbidden area, she had made up her mind to enter. Then, it was a massacre of the injured disciples of the evil sound sect. The Yin Qi is so thick. This is the forbidden land of 10,000 Een. This is the evil sound sect's #1 forbidden area, and also the evil sound sect's most precious place. Holy Maiden, what kind of treasure is this? That's right. Tell me about it. Evil girl Saint's eyes turned cold as he said, I don't know either. Indeed, she also did not know that where the ancestors of the evil sound sect found this place, all the other evil sound sects that have been established here were only allowed to enter by the sect master. As for treasures, she only knew that the twisting sound poison was peerless, and only here could she find the antidote for it. As for the other treasures, she had never seen them before. It's been so long that brat Long Fei still hasn't come out. Could he have died inside? I think it's possible. The impact sound just now was very powerful. Who knows? Maybe he's already dead. Regardless of whether he's dead or not, God's Devil Ancient Case is a sacred artifact of our 8 great demon sections. Even if he's dead, we must dig the God's Devil Ancient Case out of his body. The people from the 8 demon sects slowly pressed forward. Xie Yun said, Sect Master will not die. Sect Master will definitely come to save us. Master, let's go back to the shore. Bringing an outsider into the 10,000 Een Forbidden Land has already violated the sect's rules. If you continue to be so stubborn then, not waiting for her to finish. The space between Evil Girl Saints' eyebrows tightened, and he raised his right hand. A stream of energy fell from the sky and fiercely slapped Xie Yun's face. What the hell are you? You actually want to teach me a lesson? Blood trickled from the corner of Xie Yun's mouth as his body fell to the ground. Many junior sister apprentices rushed forward and helped Xie Yun up. Blood refinement sect master Inu smiled obscenely. Holy maiden, why don't you give them all to me? I will definitely make them obediently listen to me. He only looked at Xie Yun twice. He had to say it. The women of Evil Sound sect were delicious. All of the female disciples trembled inwardly. Inu's methods were too cruel. Evil Girl Saint sneered and said, "Wait until I find that bastard Long Fei. You can play with these female disciples however you want, and play with them however you want. I will definitely not interfere." She already hated him to the extreme. Xie Yun and the other disciples had all died in their hearts against the evil girl saints. Haha, the words of the holy maiden are enough. A lewd smile surfaced on Inu's face as he looked around and said, "Little beauty, I will treat you nicely later." Haha. The other sect leaders also laughed out loud. All along the way, corpses were strewn about the 10,000 yin forbidden land. The female disciples who hid in the forbidden area died miserable deaths. The majority of them were killed by the evil girl saints' demonic zither. Extremely vicious. Evil girl saints asked coldly, "Xie Yun, didn't you say that Long Fei wouldn't die? Then where is he now? You bastards follow a dog? Humph. Does it feel good now? Call the dog out to save you." This was what she hated the most. While the martial arts arena Xie Yun and many disciples were defending Long Fei, the anger in her heart was raging to the heavens. However, after dozens of years of being taught by the sect master, she was not as good as Long Fei, the sect master of half a day. She hated him to the extreme. Therefore, she wanted to kill him. Xie Yun's forehead turned sinister as he said, "Old Granny, Long Fei will definitely kill you. Do you know why we supported him? Because he was willing to fight against the entire world for a single disciple. Can you? In all these years, have you ever counted how many disciples have died from your sonic bending poison? I have counted a total of 637 people, including my own sister. This is the result of your unpopularity. Baidu's search, half afloat. So what if you kill me today? So what if they kill us all? In our hearts, you are just a vile, pathetic old woman." Whether or not Long Fei was alive, whether or not he could save them, Xie Yun had to say it. The words, "old granny," caused the evil girl saints to seethe with anger, and with a turn of his body, the demon zither shot out, landing beside Xie Yun. "You're courting death." Chapter 1. Thank you, Lin Yusheng, for your support of over 700 monthly tickets. The sea will definitely remember the supporting roles of the 8 Great King Kong. Thank you. 8_8419/2356701. The zither string was only a few centimeters away from Xie Yun's neck. As long as evil girl saints let go, her head would be chopped off. The zither string was only a few centimeters away from Xie Yun's neck. As long as evil girl saints let go, her head would be chopped off. At this moment, evil girl saint suddenly stopped and slightly said, "Beg me, kneel down and beg me. Didn't you always kneel in front of me like a dog? Beg me, ha!" Perverted psychology, twisted psychology. Xie Yun looked at the zither string. His gaze lifted and said word by word, old demoness, you this ugly, twisted old demoness." He immediately closed his eyes and shouted the last sentence. She knew she was going to die soon. However, she still wanted to say what she had wanted to say the most in her life. If she did not say it now, she was afraid that she would not have the chance to say it. It was also at this moment. Evil girl Saints' eyes spewed fire. Like a crazy old witch, he roared, "Go and die. No, no. Sect leader Long Fei, please save us. Save me, eldest senior sister." The female disciples behind him were so scared that they started crying. Tears started pouring out of their eyes as they cried to the point that their hearts and lungs were splitting apart. Xie Yun was their pillar of support, and Xie Yun was also their big sister as well. She was their big sister who genuinely cared and protected them, and they did not want to see Xie Yin die. The evil girl saints sinisterly said, "No one can save you in this world, so it's even more impossible for that Long Fei bastard. Die!" As his fingers tugged on the strings, he suddenly moved. Just as her fingers were about to move, a demonic sound rang out. F***CK, your 8 ancestors. 3-rate peerless technique. Boom! The demonic shadows were like blood, dispersing throughout the entire 10,000 Valley. And then, Long Fei lowered his voice and said faintly, "Demon Snake's eye, release for me." Shwa! Long Fei's eyes suddenly changed into a snake's eye, its snake eyes releasing a strange light ray that shone onto Evil Girl Saints' body. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Evil Girl Saints' entire body was slowly petrifying. But the system sounded out. My base level is too high, causing the petrification effect for half a second. Level 7 War Emperor. Long Fei was only at the 4th level of War Elder. The difference was more than 20 levels. The difference was too big. He was unable to cause a petrification effect for too long. However, half a second was enough. Buzz. Evil Girl Saints was completely petrified. Long Fei's phantom shadow fell. 3-blade stream demon. Husho. Shwa. He directly sent Evil Girl Saints flying into the air. Recover. Shwa. Dragon chop. Swish. Long Fei took a step forward. 460 slashes. The dragon salure was as fast as lightning as it madly killed its way out. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Swish, swish, swish. The evil girl saint in the air did not stop to kill. The blood on top of her head also rapidly decreased. But these two moves were not enough to kill the evil girl saints. 460 slashes. Boom! The dragon salure fiercely hacked down, like a battle axe smashing down towards Evil Girl Saints. The ground cracked, and the entire valley trembled. Evil Girl Saints' face was pale, flames spouted out of his eyes, dog. However, after Long Fei smashed her down to the ground, her figure also disappeared. Actually, Long Fei landed on the ground before Evil Girl Saints, and the moment Evil Girl Saints landed, his fists fiercely shook and smashed into the ground, splitting fist. Boom! The ground shook and a strong force suddenly shot out, sending the evil girl saints flying into the air. Long Fei had already spread out her limbs and was sprawled on the ground. The moment she was sent flying, both of her legs pushed up and she said solemnly, "Toting skill." Bam! His body shot out like a cannonball. It struck the evil girl saint's abdomen, releasing the power of strangling. A grand execution. In the air, Long Fei leaped up to Evil Girl Saints' head and hugged his fists. Roar. The image of the large power king, Kong Ape's Rage, superimposed onto his body. Next, Long Fei roared Mountain Hit Fist. Both fists were like axes as they heavily smashed into Evil Girl Saints' head. Boom. Blood spurted out from the top of Evil Girl Saints' head as his body shot towards the ground like a bullet, wailing in pain. However, Long Fei still did not give her any time to react, because he couldn't give her any time, or else. The explosion of level 7 War Emperor strength was something he couldn't withstand right now. He could only take advantage of his illness and take his life. Long Fei roared, "Ice and fire!" Roar. Ice and fire flew out from the war pet space, roaring loudly and fiercely. Understood. Master, the target has been locked on. Time was now a new day, and his energy had been replenished. Long Fei leaped up, landing on the dragon's back, and said, "Kill her. Ice and fire, 9 heavens. First stage, burning ice. Second stage, ice and fire thunderbolt. Rumble, rumble." The two forces were like 2 bolts of lightning that struck down heavily, causing critical damage immediately as millions of damage floated up above Evil Girl Saints' head. However, Evil Girl Saints was a level 7 War Emperor. Her HP had already reached over 10 million. This was not enough. Boom! The skies suddenly shook. Xiaobai also burst out with a shot. Wolf God Spear. Schwa! A lance pierced through the heavens like a ray of laser light. Boom! He nailed evil girl Saints into the deep pit, causing another critical hit. Long Fei jumped down from the dragon's back, heavily landing beside evil girl Saints. He then stepped on her head, which was covered in hair. Anger. Incomparable rage. He did not expect it to turn out like this. At the same time, Long Fei was extremely arrogant. Extremely arrogant. The domineering aura on his body was like a steaming flame, crazily burning. At his roar, the entire forbidden land of 10,000 Yin fell silent. Everyone stared at him with their mouths wide open. Everyone had the same question in their minds. Is he human? Is he even King human? If the 3 slaps in the sound trap cave was said to be successful because the evil girl Saints did not know that the sound trap formation had been broken, then Long Fei's sneak attack had been successful. However, and now? A sneak attack now? No. Right now, he was being crushed by skills. Long Fei had hit evil girl Saints so hard that he did not even have the slightest leeway to counterattack. More importantly, the first thing Long Fei did was to release his power. The 7 sect leaders felt a chill in their hearts. What kind of power was that? Petrification? Blood spurted out from the corner of evil girl Saints' mouth as he stared at Long Fei with his sinister eyes. He laughed sinisterly. Long Fei, are you satisfied? It's all because of you that evil sound sect has become like this. There are less than 3,000 disciples and less than 300 left. Long Fei, are you satisfied? Huh? Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, his eyes bloodshot. The divine power in his right arm suddenly exploded and he roared, I'm very unhappy. Boom! Chapter 28_8419/2356702. Very unhappy. Very unhappy. Long Fei was extremely unhappy. Thus, kill. The god power on Long Fei's right arm exploded out. His fist struck down, striking evil girl Saints' head. Bam! The last bit of blood on the top of evil girl Saints' head drained. It was also at this moment. Headshot. Long Fei pulled out his fist that was dripping blood and brain matter and asked coldly, Now, are you satisfied? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing evil girl Saints for gaining an experience point, true chi point, energy values point, and points 100. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the profound sky zither. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the secret skill poison refinement technique. Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining sky soundbreak for his cultivation. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining spirit stone 2908. A wave of system beep-s sounded out. Long Fei didn't care about what had exploded as he walked out of the deep pit step by step. The moment he walked out of the pit, he glared at the 7 sect masters who had been stunned into silence, and said with a heavy tone and sinister look, Next. Terrifying. Long Fei was not a devil body right now, but the aura being emitted from his body was even more terrifying than devil energy. Evil girl Saints was killed. Furthermore, the power Long Fei had released just now was simply too much, causing their hearts to tremble. Just what kind of power was it? A 4th level war, elder cultivation? One day ago, Long Fei was still at the level 2 war elder, but he is now at the 4th level of the war elder. Abnormal. Monster. At the same time, the 7 of them all had the same thought in their minds. We can't let this kid stay alive. Letting Long Fei live was only a disaster. Right at this moment, Long Fei was furious. He roared, I say, who's next? The sound was like a loud bell exploding in the valley. The 7 sect masters' bodies faintly trembled, and the killing intent that had originally surged out was also instantly crushed. The current Long Fei was simply invincible. Even they were afraid. Xiao Wantian slightly smiled and said, Sect Master Long, don't be angry. We don't want anything to happen to you. Right. We don't want anything to happen. The God's Devil Ancient case is yours. Take it. We are only there to accompany old Demoness Yin. She was the one who killed all these disciples. It was also at this time Yu, the sect master of the blood refinement sect, could not take it. When others killed, he was the only one who brutally insulted the female disciples. Then, whoosh, he turned into a ball of bloody light and rushed out of the forbidden land of 10,000 een. And then, Xiaowantian also quickly retreated. He left. The remaining 5 sect heads also ran, disappearing without a trace in the blink of an eye. The female disciples in the 10,000 een forbidden land were indeed killed by the holy maiden Xiaqin alone, and the female disciples of the evil sound sect, if they continued to linger here, Long Fei would get even angrier, and some of them would definitely die. Actually, they were all suppressed by Long Fei's aura. Fear grew in their hearts. That was why they were afraid, why they were scared. Any one of them could easily crush Long Fei, but because of the blood refinement sect's escape, they completely gave up on trying to deal with Long Fei and frantically escaped. Sovereign, we can't let them go. Xie Yin was the first to react. Just now, her life was hanging by a thread, but now that she looked at evil girl saints dying in the deep pit with her eyes open, and then at Long Fei's back, her heart immediately became excited. It was also at this time. Huff! Long Fei's body slightly sank, and his face became pale. So uncomfortable. Long Fei's heart sank. The aura on his body, the incomparable aura that was being released, was actually caused by him burning true qi. Out of the more than 400,000 true qi, only their 100,000 points did not reach that level. The burning of the true qi. What was burning was not only true qi, but also mental energy. The moment he saw the 7 devil sect disciples fly away, Long Fei's state of mind relaxed as cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Turning around to look at the remaining 200 or so female disciples, Long Fei felt guilty in his heart as he apologized and bowed. "I'm sorry. I've harmed the both of you." The sect head bowed in apology. The expressions of all the female disciples of evil sound sect changed. This had never happened before. It was also at this time. Xie Yun abruptly kneeled on the ground and said in a heavy voice, "Sect Master, I did not listen to your orders. Punish us." Whoosh whoosh, asterisk, everyone fell to their knees. When they were an evil sound sect, they were a little unwilling because Long Fei was just a level 2 war elder and was even a man. Now, their eyes were all filled with respect and worship. Truly see Long Fei in front of their sect master. Moreover, a grand master who could bow in apology. This kind of grand master was rare and must be cherished. They sincerely submitted. At the same time, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing 1/8 of the mission. Has submitted. Long Fei's brows tightened as he laughed bitterly in his heart. If we have to pay this kind of price to submit to us, if thousands of young ladies of different seasons are going to die like this, I'm willing to not accept this mission. He truly felt displeased in his heart. Long Fei stepped forward and helped Xie Yun and the others up, saying, "From today onwards, I will definitely not let this kind of thing happen again." "Right. Where's Xiaqin?" Xiaqin said in a low voice, "Sectmaster, I am here." Xiaqin was in the middle of the crowd, and everyone was surrounding her tightly, because she was someone Long Fei wanted to protect. Long Fei's heart was filled with gratitude. Seeing Xiaqin's pale face, his heart ached, and he immediately took out the magic panacea furnace to refine the antidote for the twisting sound poison. "Wait a moment. Just a moment. Just for a moment." Xiaqin looked at Long Fei quietly, a happy smile blossoming on his face as he muttered, "Meeting you is the luckiest thing that I have ever done in my life." "Long Fei, thank you." Elder sister is satisfied. Slowly, her voice trailed off, then faded, then disappeared. The last trace of blood on his face had also disappeared. Long Fei's heart was killing him. Tears welled up from his eyes. He continued to control the pill furnace and continued to say, "Sis, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'll definitely save you. I'll definitely save you, I promise." The magic panacea furnace exploded. Ding! Refinery failure. Long Fei immediately scolded angrily. Long Fei, you are really useless. Again, and then, Long Fei quickly began to refine again, but he was still talking nonstop. Sis, I will definitely save you. It's going to be ready soon. The antidote is going to be ready soon. Bam! Floating life. Table of contents, no windows. A plus plus the furnace exploded again. Another failure. Long Fei's heart was in a mess. He was in a state that was simply unsuitable for alchemy. Sect Master, Senior Sister Xie Qin, is dead. Chapter 38_8419/2356703. Long Fei acted as if he hadn't heard anything. Long Fei acted as if he hadn't heard anything. He was still refining. Failure. Another failure. He was like a madman, the true chi flames that burst out from his palm, enveloping the entire magic panacea furnace. He was furious. Xie Qin was incomparably furious. If he had come out earlier, Xie Qin would not have died. If he was a little stronger, Xie Qin would not have died. If he had killed the evil girl saints from the very beginning, Xie Qin would not have died. Everything. It was all because he was still too weak. Xie Qin tried to protect him with his life several times, but he couldn't do anything now. An incomparable discomfort. Xie Yun knelt in front of Long Fei and said, Sect Master, Junior Sister Apprentice, Xie Qin. This was the first time she saw Xie Qin smile so happily, and it was all because of this man before her. This was the first time she had seen Long Fei do this for a disciple. Was there still such a good man in the world? Long Fei shook his head and said, I was the one who let her down. I was useless. I cannot save her, He threw his head back and shouted angrily, why? At the same time, Long Fei's heart stirred as he asked, Ancestor, do you have a way? You must have a way. You are the ruler of Yin Huang Ancestor. You must have a way, right? Yin Huang Ancestor shook his head. The twisting sound poison has already penetrated deep into my bone marrow. She has already dragged it out for 3 days, and when the poison enters my heart, even the Delu Golden Immortal would not be able to do anything. If he was dead, he was dead. Even if he was a Yin Huang Ancestor, there was nothing he could do. Long Fei fell to the ground and looked at the silent Xie Qin. Long Fei's heart felt like it had been thrown into a meat grinder. Suddenly, Yin Huang Ancestor seemed to have thought of something and said, Long Fei, death is merely the separation of the soul and spirit. If you can retrieve her soul and spirit, I have a way to revive her. At first, he didn't think of it. Now, Yin Huang Ancestor thought. Long Fei's expression tensed up and immediately asked, How do I find them? Yin Huang Ancestor replied, Enter the underworld. Enter the underworld? Long Fei became suspicious and asked, How do I enter? Am I going to die too? If that's all right, I have no problem. Xie Qin was his savior and was willing to pay any price. Yin Huang Ancestor smiled faintly and said, You don't have to die. Have you forgotten about Dark Canyon? What is a Dark Crow King? It could evolve into a 9 secret underworld finches after another stage. To be able to enter the underworld. Long Fei's eyes became cold. We will go to Dark Canyon now. No rush, Yin Huang Ancestor said indifferently. You are still at the 4th level of the War Elder. Your cultivation is still a little weak. If you want to conquer the Raven King, your cultivation must reach the War Master Ream. Moreover, we can't be sure that Crow King has already evolved into a 9 secret underworld finches. So the most important thing for you to do now is to break through the War Master Ream. Break through the War Master Ream? Still 6 levels away. Long Fei thought, based on my experience required to level up now, I would probably need 5 or 600 million experience points. I'm afraid that in terms of time, he now had almost 100 million experience points. Even if he continued killing monsters day and night to level up, he would need quite a bit of time. He could fight. But what about Xie Qin's body? Long Fei asked. Breaking through the War Master will take some time. What about Xie Qin's body? Ancestor, do you have a way to protect her body from rotting? The Yin Huang Ancestor disdainfully said, You have your own treasure that you don't know how to use. The God's Devil ancient case is able to prevent anything in the world from rotting, not rotting, and there's also the effect of beauty. If you can find all of Sietchin's 3 souls and 7 souls, then she will definitely be even more beautiful than she is right now. Air. Long Fei trembled. God's Devil ancient case? And then, Long Fei stood up, walked to Sietchin's side, and said lightly, "Sis, I swore to save you. Long Fei, will definitely do it. Even if you die now, I will save you." The faces of all the surrounding female disciples changed. What was going on? How could she save him now that he was dead? Xie wanted to say something, but hesitated. Long Fei looked at her and said with a bland smile, "Don't worry, I haven't become crazy." While they were talking, Long Fei's palm moved. "God's Devil ancient case. Take it out for me." Whoosh! Swallow. The God's Devil ancient case arrived beside Sietchin's corpse and covered it in demonic energy, directly sucking Sietchin into the magic box and soaking him in the 10,000 Devil Lake. Long Fei once again withdrew the God's Devil ancient case and said faintly, "We will meet the evil sound sect." 10 minutes later. 7 great devil sects. "I will definitely screw you over." Evil sound sect rivers of blood flowed, and each and every one of them died a miserable death. The anger in Long Fei's heart spewed, spew again at this moment. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly and said, "What bullsh asterisk team mission is this, Demon Sovereign? I don't care. What reward? I don't care." The anger in Long Fei's heart had already reached a high point. When he walked into the hidden sound pavilion, he saw a dozen disciples wearing tattered clothes, revealing their snow-white bodies. The ground was covered with blood. A lady's body was curled up. She was leaning against the corner. Her hands were tightly hugging her knees. Her body was trembling uncontrollably. Her lips were white. Her eyes were staring straight at Long Fei as she spoke incessantly. "Don't come over, don't come over, don't come over here." His eyes were filled with fear. Long Fei looked at her fearful eyes, and his heart seemed as if it was about to tear apart. The blood refinement sect. "Inyu, wait for lousy." Boom! Long Fei walked out violently, looked at Xie Yun who was at the door, and said solemnly, "From today onwards, all of you will enter the 10,000 Een forbidden land to cultivate. Where is the spirit energy? The Een energy is only suitable for females to cultivate." Xie Yun asked, "Sect Master, where are you going?" "Me?" Long Fei grinned coldly and said, "I'm going to break through the war master ream. I didn't know where to level up in the past. Now I know." And then, Long Fei continued, "When I was not around, you were evil sound sect master." Xie Yun still wanted to say something, but Long Fei had already dashed out, as if he was a madman. He was furious. He could not bear to watch any longer. He couldn't tolerate it for even a moment. He wasn't a beast at all. He couldn't even be compared to the vicious methods of the blood refinement sect master. "Provoke me? Then you will have to pay the price." Long Fei's heart blazed with anger. As he boiled and raged in his heart, "The blood refinement sect, your father is here." The mission of being the supreme of the demon race was to subdue the 8 great demon sections. Now, Long Fei did not care about this bullshit mission from the start. He only thought of one thing: the 7 great demon sects, one by one, wanting to screw with him. "Huff, old bastard, things went beyond our expectations. What should we do?" Sister-in-law, 1-/ plus health, strongest upgrade system. "Isn't it too cruel of us to do this? The young lord has endured too much. There's no other way. He is the supreme demon king. There are some things he must bear. What do we do now?" To the blood refinement sect. Chapter 48_8419/2356704. The blood refinement sect, one of the 8 great demon sections. The blood refinement sect, one of the 8 great demon sections. Sect Master Inyu. Level 7 War Emperor Cultivation. The blood refinement sect, was the cruelest sect among the 8 great demon sections. They would search everywhere for beautiful women to refine into blood corpse, control them, and then allow them to indulge themselves. It was the same for the sect master and the other sect disciples. The Blood Refinement Mountain. On a blood-red mountain peak, Inu sat on the sect master's chair, the corners of his mouth carrying a lewd smile, his mind still replaying the scenes from the evil sound sect, occasionally revealing a lewd smile. An elder asked, "Sect leader, did you find the god's devil ancient case this time?" Inu's brows shook and said, "I'm afraid that the god's devil ancient case cannot be obtained. I don't know what kind of power that long fey bastard cultivated. A mere war elder realm is actually able to kill that old lady from Evil Girl Saints." Thinking about the scene of Evil Girl Saints being crushed by Long Fey, his heart couldn't help but turn cold. There was no chance of resisting at all. If it was him, if I were to return to the blood-refining sect now, not to mention Long Fey, even Xiu Wantian, who is at the peak of the level 7 war emperor, would not be able to harm me in the slightest. If he dares to come, then don't even think about going back. At this moment, behind his seat, there was a huge jar. The blood in the jar was boiling, and a pair of green eyes that seemed like will-o-wisp flames were revealed. Inu gently caressed the eye with his right hand and said slightly, "Blood King, don't be anxious. As long as that kid dares to come here, I'll definitely let you eat your fill." Ha ha! When that elder saw that green eye, he could not help but take half a step back, his body faintly trembling. It was the Blood King, the King of Blood Corpses. It had been raised by Inu for more than 50 years and had been raised using his child's blood. It was also Inu's biggest killing move. When he returned to the Blood Refinement sect, he wasn't afraid at all. As he leaned back in his chair, he thought about the female disciples of the Evil Sound sect once more. His face was filled with lust. These are all top-quality goods. One day later, under the Blood Refinement sect, a figure with a dragon salyer on his right hand, his body burning with flames of fury as he watched the peak of the Blood Refinement Mountain rising into the clouds. Long Fei's voice sunk as he poured the true chi in and roared, "Inu, get the hell out here. Rumble, rumble." His voice contained the power of the heavenly note break, directly enveloping the entire Blood Refinement sect. In the main hall, Inu was sleeping soundly. His eyes suddenly opened, his body trembled. He almost fell down from his chair and shouted, "What is that sound? What is that sound?" A disciple hurriedly walked into the hall and reporting to Sect Master, "It is the voice of a youth who is not even 20 years of age." Inu's mind tensed up, and he asked, "A youth not even 20 years old? What are the characteristics?" The characteristic is that in his hands, he seems to be holding the Fireglass City's heirloom knife, the dragon's salyer. Inu's eyes turned sinister as he said, "Long Fei, you dog, I didn't expect you to be here." Good. There's a path to heaven that you're not going to take. There's no path to hell, and you'll have it yourself. You delivered this to me just in time. You gave me your god's devil ancient case, huh? Inu laughed madly before snorting coldly. "Pass down my order, kill." "Yes, sir." At the mountain gate, a dozen or so mountain guarding disciples rushed down with murderous intent in their eyes. "Where did this bastard come from? How dare you behave so atrociously in my Blood Refinement sect? You're looking to die, right? Why don't you take a look at this place? Is this a place where a dog like you can behave atrociously? Why are you wasting time with him? Kill them all." While they were talking, Long Fei's figure moved. Before they could finish speaking, Long Fei had already landed behind them and coldly spat out, "Explode." Boom, 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 boom. The bodies of a dozen or so Blood Refinement sect disciples exploded into a cloud of bloody mist. A drop of blood on the dragon salyer's tip fell. Long Fei's voice was as cold as ice. "All of you die." Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Blood Refinement sect's minion Luo. Rewards: 300 experience points, 200 true chi, 10 energy values, 10 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Blood Refinement Sect's minion Luo. Rewards: 45 experience points, 36 true chi points, 10 energy values points, 10 points. The system's voice rang out. Experience true chi. Points up. These were merely minions guarding the sect gate. They had low cultivation bases and low experience. Long Fei raised his eyes slightly, looked at the three big words Blood Refining Sect on the mountain gate, and his mouth turned cold as he said faintly, "Today, I will overturn you." At this moment, another two mountain guarding disciples rushed down. "You dare to behave so atrociously in the Blood Refinement Sect. I think you must be tired of living." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei shouted in his heart, "Second level, without peer. Shua! Teleport! Shua!" 2 rows of guards and 16 people were all cut in half at the waist. 16 system beep S rang out. Ding! 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 Next, another large wave of people rushed down the mountain. The blood veins in Long Fei's eyes were like the blood veins of the heavenly demon Eye of the Infernal Queen. The anger in his heart rose to 1,000 feet. "All of you must die. All of you must die." Long Fei was furious beyond compare. 1 step, 1 kill, 1 step, 1 death. Each time, he would use his full strength, like a bullet striking a mosquito. He didn't give those lackeys any chance. They fought from morning until afternoon. Blood flowed like a spring from the stone steps. They had massacred the evil sound sect. Today, Long Fei also wanted to bathe and refine the blood sect. He wanted to slaughter the sect. He wanted the entire blood refinement sect dead. Because of anger, within the blood refinement great hall, an elder stumbled into the hall and said anxiously, Sect Master, we can't stop them, we can't. That lad is like a god of death, killing every single person he meets with instantly. Just a moment ago, just now, even the second elder, who was at the first level of War Emperor, was killed. What should we do? Inyu's eyes turned sinister, his right hand moved. Whoosh! A golden light shot out from the jar beside him. At this moment, the golden light directly bit off the elder's throat, and then the elder crawled his entire body in, frantically devouring and biting at it. Less than 3 seconds, the elder trembled in madness. His body shrunk until there was nothing left but a leather bag. Not a single drop of blood came out. Not even a scream of pain came out. Outside the palace, Long Fei crawled up like a man made of blood from a pool, his eyes completely red from killing. The dragon Salyer moved yet again, and with his shoulder facing the blood refinement hall, he roared angrily, "Inyu, get the hell out here right now." Chapter 5. Once again, he thanked Lin Yusheng for his monthly tickets. "Brothers, if you have a monthly ticket, please give me your support. In addition, the train would have to go out to work tonight. Tomorrow's update might be in the afternoon or at night. 8_8419/2356705. Inyu, get the hell out here. Inyu, get the hell out here." His voice was deafening. In the plaza outside the blood refinement hall, those disciples were pushing the door back with fear on their faces. All of them were crushed by Long Fei's terrifying killing intent. Suddenly, several screams burst out from behind the group of disciples. A bunch of trash. For one of the 8 great demon sects of the blood refinement sect to be so frightened by a single person, are you still considered demons? His voice carried a harsh tone. Inyu's gloomy voice came out from the hall. The king of blood corpse that was glowing with a green light was crazily devouring it. When it was bitten by the king of blood corpse, it would immediately drill into the body, and in less than 3 seconds, there would only be 1 sentence left. It was incomparably cruel. It's the king of blood corpse. It's the sect master's king of blood corpse. Terrified cries rang out. Inyu's cold voice came again. "Whoever dares to take half a step back, I'll make the king of blood corpse eat him." Kill him. With regard to Long Fei, they were even more afraid of the king of blood corpse. Hundreds of disciples stopped retreating. An elder moved his sword, and a bloody mist burst out from his body. He then shouted with a deep voice, "Disciples of the Hall of Blood, listen up. Huh. Follow me and kill my way out." Kill. Dozens of disciples rushed up together, covering the sky, the ground, front, back, left, and right. Long Fei's eyes darkened. Looking at the people rushing towards him from all directions, Long Fei's eyes turned cold, and his body suddenly exploded. Three-rate, peerless technique. Boom! His body sank slightly, moonlit step. Shwa! He rushed up to the sky and pulled down the dragon's salyer on his shoulder. Hurricane cut. True chi gushed in. The sword chi on the dragon's salyer started to wreak havoc. The blood-colored sword chi hacked out, and with a roll, it shot out like a tornado. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for comprehending Tornado Strike. Long Fei was secretly surprised. Comprehending skills in battle? Haha, I am a genius. Shwa! The saber chi turned into a hurricane, crazily sweeping up the 8 elements. The Blood Refinement sect disciples that charged forward were all sucked into the vortex by the saber chi tornado. At this moment, Long Fei's figure disappeared. Tornado Strike. In the midst of the hurricane, a figure appeared in the eyes of the wind. The dragon salyer on Long Fei's right hand and the god's devil blade on his left. As soon as he finished, his body suddenly twisted. Like the wings of a helicopter, he began to frantically spin. One black, one red berserk blade cut out like lightning. Whoosh, 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 asterisk, whoosh, 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 asterisk, whoosh, 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 asterisk. The huge sword chi was harvesting crazily. The tornado turned into a bloody tornado. Broken limbs flew everywhere, and heads flew everywhere. Ding, ding, ding. The system's notification sound rang out, and the tornado was moving. The disciples who did not rush up to the tornado were killed instantly. Save me. Sect Master, save us. Grand Elder, save us. The hundreds of Blood Refinement sect disciples in the plaza were all swept away by the tornado. Long Fei slashed his sabers madly, as if his death god was dancing in the midst of a tornado. He was so handsome that it was a complete mess. All of you must die. Inyu, the next one will be you. Long Fei's voice came out from the tornado. And then, a bloodied figure flew out from the hurricane. His entire body dyed red with blood. 2 wild blades, one on the left and one on the right, stood at the entrance of the Blood Refinement Hall. Long Fei was in a complete mess. The moment he rushed out of the hurricane, the tornado was still wreaking havoc. Buzz, rumble. With a burst of strength, the tornado suddenly stopped and the blood that filled the sky dispersed. It was like a torrential rain pouring down from the sky. The roof of the Blood Refinement Hall was filled with clattering sounds. Blood dripped from the eaves and seeped into the hall. The entire Blood Refinement Hall was dripping with blood. Head, broken limbs, bones, everything flew into the air. At this moment, the Blood Refinement sect was like hell on earth. What was called a bloodbath. This was a bloodbath. Too arrogant. However, the anger in Long Fei's heart did not decrease by even a little. It continued to inflate, and stared at Inyu, who was in the great hall sneering at him, and said solemnly, "You destroyed my evil sound sect disciple, so I will massacre your blood-refining sect. Inyu, now it's your turn." The Blood Refinement sect was completely silent. The smell of blood spread across the area. After killing for an entire day, right now, there was only the sect leader of the Blood Refinement sect, Inyu. Him. The chair in the sect master's position was glowing with a golden light. There was no doubt that he was the leader of the group. Inyu stared coldly at Long Fei, his gaze carrying killing intent, and said slightly, "Long Fei, your evil sound sects still have any female disciples, right? Don't worry. After I kill you, the evil sound sect will change its name to Blood Refining Sect. I will make all of those beautiful female disciples become my corpse slaves." What? Long Fei moved. Just at that moment, Yan Huang Ancestor suddenly warned, "Be careful." Whoosh! A green light flashed, and the gigantic king of Blood Corpse shot towards him. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. King of Blood Corpse? With a move of his right arm, he channeled his divine power and put away the god's devil blade. Clang! The dragon salyer hacked down heavily. Long Fei's hands were shaken till they were numb. The web of his hands seemed to be torn apart. The pain was unbearable, and in the end, clang! The dragon salyer flew out of his hands. Long Fei staggered a few steps back, his face darkened, looked at the unharmed king of Blood Corpse, and asked, "Ancestor, what kind of king of Blood Corpse is this?" He had seen the king of Blood Corpse back in Zhoutown. However, the king of Blood Corpse in front of him was completely different. Even if it was a war master ranker, they would only be able to kill him with a single slash with their previous strength, but he couldn't break through the defense of these bugs. One strike, and it turned out to be a miss attack, a defense that not even the dragon salyer could break. Yin Huang Ancestor said slightly, "This is the ancestor of the blood insect. The one raising this place should be at least 50 years old. All of them were raised using the child's blood. All of these fellows are invulnerable and extremely valiant." Not waiting for him to finish, Inyu laughed wildly and said, "Long Fei, you're very surprised, right? It's great, isn't it? Ha ha! Continue being arrogant. Continue being arrogant. Blood Corpse, eat him." The space between Inyu's eyebrows tightened. The Blood Corpse ancestor in the hall flew up once more. Long Fei took out his god's devil blade and hacked down. It was the mice attack again. He was sent flying out of his hand once again. There was no way to kill it. His defense was too strong. Long Fei asked, "Ancestor, is there no other way?" The old ancestor said, "If he wants to eat you, you can eat it. Use the god's devil ancient case to swallow it." Chapter 18_8419/2356706. When Long Fei heard the words, "He wants to eat you, you just eat it," he was so scared that cold sweat broke out on his back. When Long Fei heard the words, "He wants to eat you, you just eat it," he was so scared that cold sweat broke out on his back. Such a big caterpillar, green, one big eye, ugly beyond compare, even darker than dark food, looked disgusting, you can eat. However, it was only after the ancestor said, "Swallow it with a god's devil ancient case," that Long Fei finally relaxed a little and said, "Ancestor, can you finish speaking in one go? You scare me to death." The Blood Corpse ancestor in front of them could not be dealt with. His defense alone was something that Long Fei had no way of breaking through. Long Fei suddenly thought of the fact that within the god's devil ancient case, there was still Xie Qin's flesh body. He could not help but worry as he thought to himself, "Ancestor, could Xie Qin's flesh body?" The ancestor said, "Don't worry. The space within the god's devil ancient case is too big, and that caterpillar cannot find Xie Qin's flesh body in such a short period of time. You must kill Inyu before he finds his flesh body." The Blood Corpse ancestor was raised by Inyu. As long as its owner was killed, it would lose control and lose its target for a period of time. It was like a machine without electricity that had stopped working. Long Fei thought, "Then what if we don't kill Inyu within a certain period of time?" The old patriarch said then, "Your sister's body is probably F*CK. Long Fei cursed in his heart. The Yin Huang ancestor said, "This is your only choice right now. If you can't kill Inyu, just this bug will burn you to death." The ancestor sighed in his heart. If he recovered a little more, this kind of caterpillar idea could turn into dust. Long Fei's gaze tightened and said, "Understood. Then let's do it." Once he made up his mind, Long Fei would do it without hesitation. "Ha ha! Kid, aren't you arrogant? Continue being so arrogant. What are you hiding for? Those beautiful disciples of the Evil Sound sect are too awesome. All of them are virgins. That kind of feeling is too awesome. I can't wait to enjoy it again right now, haha." Inyu laughed loudly. As long as he had this bug, he didn't have to worry. This bug was invincible. It was the crystal that he had raised for 58 years. He had constantly sent disciples down the mountain to find girls precisely for this Blood Corpse ancestor, the Nangong Yin that he had brought back the last time. What a pity. She had never come back. Otherwise, she would have become the blood corpse ancestor's food. Inu saw that Long Fei was continuously dodging and escaping, and he started to laugh out loud. Long Fei, why don't you fight with it? Don't you like killing? Aren't you going to massacre my blood refinement sect? Continue. Ha ha! Long Fei's gaze locked onto the complacent Inu and said coldly, Laugh? I will make you kneel on the ground and cry later. The blood corpse ancestor flew up the mountain again. This time, it was even faster. Long Fei shouted in his heart, Teleport! Chua! He immediately rushed into the main hall. The blood corpse ancestor turned, its speed not any weaker than Long Fei's teleportation. It pounced forward, getting closer and closer to Long Fei. Long Fei was also getting closer and closer to Inu. Inu sat on the chair without moving an inch. He was not flustered, because it was impossible for Long Fei to kill him. In another second, Long Fei would be devoured by the blood corpse ancestor. Ha ha! Long Fei, you want to kill me? You're still very young. Don't worry, after you die, I will definitely take good care of those evil sound sect female disciples. Inu continued to be complacent. His eyes widened. The blood corpse ancestor had already fallen half an inch above Long Fei's head. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Long Fei was about to die. He became even more pleased with himself. At this moment, Long Fei moved his left hand, God's Devil Ancient Case. Boom! The God's Devil Ancient Case flew out and landed on the top of Long Fei's head. Just as it was about to bite a few of Long Fei's heads, its body suddenly trembled. A group of demon aura shrouded him and devoured him. When Long Fei summoned out his God's Devil Ancient Case, his speed did not decrease by even a little. With a grab of the air with his right hand, a burst of energy shot out, linked to Dragon's Salure S that had fallen to the side. Dragon's Salure. Whoosh! The Dragon's Salure flew out and landed on Long Fei's right hand. Buzz! Long Fei's body suddenly changed. Every single black head of his had turned blood red, as if they were burning, and the aura of the heavenly demon on his body rolled out. He clenched his fists. 3-rate peerless technique. Boom! As soon as he released his power, the blood dragon god on the Dragon's Salure in Long Fei's hands roared out. The blood-red dragon god surged out, pouncing towards Inu. Inu was dazed. His mouth still continued to laugh maniacally, but the laughter was gone. His expression was still smug, and then it started to twist. No, blood corpse ancestor are invincible. The instant he saw the blood corpse ancestor be devoured by the God's Devil Ancient Case, his entire body became unwell. However, Long Fei seized this opportunity. Magic chop. Boom! The power of a blood vein burst out. Titan blood vein. The shadow on Long Fei's body turned into a divine sea titan, holding onto a giant anchor as it hacked down. Kneel down and chant conquer for this daddy. Bam! Inu was still in shock. He simply did not have time to react to Long Fei's attack. The saber slashed down. Voila! A long gash appeared in his chest, and blood spurted out. The sect master's chair was also broken into pieces. Inu rolled down the steps from his position as sect master. His bun was scattered, and his clothes were torn. No, my king of blood corpse. Inu was instantly angered to the extreme as he crazily pounced at the God's Devil Ancient Case that was floating in midair. Long Fei's figure moved. Secret technique. Sealing. Chua. With the release of the seal, Inu's body stopped for a tenth of a second. Teleport. Long Fei's body turned and retracted his Dragon's Salure. Clenching both of his fists, he landed in front of Inu and heavily smashed into the wound on his chest. Bang, bang. Inu was sent flying. Moonlit step. Chua. Without waiting for him to land, Long Fei punched down at him from above. Rumble. The blood refinement hall shattered. Inu spat out a mouthful of blood and roared like a beast. You dog, I will kill you. Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei's fist landed on his mouth and then on his body. Kill me? You don't F***king qualify for it. Heavenly note break. Riding on Inu's body, The pubes sank as the true chi combusted crazily. And then, Long Fei bent his body and let out a violent sound wave attack at Inu. Roar. Inu's ears were bleeding. Equals half carat float hashtag life carat. The demonic chi on Long Fei's body was extremely violent, with both fists that rained down on his body. Injure my female disciple. Destroy my evil sound sect. You bastard, explode. Chapter 2. He didn't sleep on the train the whole night and rushed out 2 chapters in the morning. Brothers, let's first satisfy our craving. We still have an update tonight. 8_8419/2356707. Boom, boom. With a heavy punch, his health fell to 0. Inu was killed instantly. Die. In an instant, Long Fei said without hesitation, release your striking energy value. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Inu for obtaining 10 experience points, true chi points, and energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining great blood refining art. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining blood corpse manipulation. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the purple blood divine robe. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Draw Slasher. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Spirit Stone. 3,089 points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Blood Refinement Sect Master Inu for obtaining a reward of points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War Elder level 5. A large wave of system beep S sounded out. All good stuff. Berserk was good. When Long Fei saw the items that dropped from the space ring, he became excited. He did not look at anything else and stared directly at the Draw Slasher. The name was too familiar. The weapon used by Nie Fong in the movie Wind Equals and Equals Cloud Equals, the Draw Slasher. Long Fei's heart was incomparably excited. He impatiently opened the system, then his eyes darkened as he cursed in his heart. Damn. What the hell is a mini version of the Draw Slasher doing? System, what the F *****? Where's the bullshit? The Draw Slasher must be a very cool and arrogant existence, but the Draw Slasher is a very small knife, just like a throwing knife. But if one were to enlarge its appearance, then it would be a Draw Slasher. Long Fei looked at the mini Draw Slasher and said with a bit of difficulty, how do you want me to use this? And then he started looking at the attributes. Weapon, Draw Slasher grade. Divine level damage. Description, using chi to control the saber. Moving through thousands of miles in a godlike manner. Moving strength, pneumatic, moving sabers, without a doubt. Description 2. This knife requires the understanding of the literally flying knife to be released. Long Fei was dumbfounded. Lily throwing knives? Li Xuanwan's strongest move? Nie Feng's weapon? This? Long Fei laughed shamelessly and said, System, you're so awesome. I am truly unable to accept it. Since you said so, then I must comprehend the concept of Little Li's flying knife. Long Fei's heart boiled with excitement. He looked at the description and was secretly excited when he heard the description. Power, air, blade, there's no mistake. Ancestor, what are you eating? Long Fei asked. The ancestor muttered, it's a lousy piece of clothing. Long Fei. All right. Anyway, I'm already used to it. Ding. The purple snow divine robe has been swallowed. The system sounded out. Following that, the ancestor was silent for a moment, as if he had refined the energy inside the divine clothes. A few seconds later, his eyes opened, and a surge of energy rushed into the god's devil ancient case and locked onto the blood corpse ancestor. In that instant, Yin Huang ancestor quickly said, Brat, do as I say. The idea enters the magic box. Faster. Long Fei truly checked the demon arts of the blood refinement art and the blood corpse manipulation art. Upon hearing the ancestor's voice, he did not think much and immediately activated his idea. Cultivate all of them. Ding, ding. Two notifications sounded. Long Fei's idea also entered the God's Devil Ancient Case S. Immediately. His idea was attracted by an enormous force. This was the power of the Yin Huang ancestor. Rumble, rumble. The waves of the myriad demons' blood pool rose as Yin Huang ancestor shouted, "Little brat, I still can't shake you." Buzz. A surge of power immediately rushed towards the Blood Corpse ancestor and crushed it. At this moment, the Blood Corpse ancestor was only half a meter away from Xie fleshly body, and moreover, in less than a minute, its power had multiplied by several times. If not for Yin Huang ancestor, he wouldn't be able to control it with just Long Fei's power, and even the energy of the entire 1,000 demonic blood pool would be absorbed by it. Kid, open a magic box. The idea enters the Blood Corpse's body. Long Fei quickly followed. He didn't know what the Yin Huang ancestor wanted to do, but he was sure it was for his own good. Boom! The God's Devil Ancient Case S opened, releasing demonic chi in all directions. A bloody light rushed out. The Blood Corpse ancestor looked as if it was about to become a spirit. It looked extremely ferocious, and its body released many rays of golden light, looking extremely strong. In this kind of situation, even an expert of the Level 7 War Emperor would not be able to deal with a Blood Corpse ancestor. Just as Inu had said, it was invincible. The moment the Blood Corpse ancestor flew out, the Yin Huang ancestor's idea moved. Little brat, go inside obediently. The power wrapped around the Blood Corpse. The Blood Corpse was directly pressed into Inu's brain. The Blood Corpse struggled crazily, but to no avail. The power of the Yin Huang ancestor was firmly suppressing it. Ready, Yin Huang ancestor reminded him. His strength was suddenly drawn out, and Long Fei's idea completely controlled the king of Blood Corpse. Boom! Long Fei's sea of consciousness was like a flood. A powerful mental shock wave struck over, leaving King of Blood Corpse empty in his sea of consciousness. He could not help but shout out in his heart, "Three-rate peerless technique. I can even kill Inu, just you. Be more honest with me." Rumble. With a loud sound, Long Fei moved his true chi, releasing the powerful energy of the Blood Corpse manipulation into the King of Blood Corpse's body. It was also at this time, Inu's body suddenly sprung up and sat on the ground. His eyes were empty as the vigorous Level 7 War Emperor Chi and the Spirit Chi on the Blood Corpse ancestor's body intertwined together. The moment he stood up, his empty eyes locked onto Long Fei. Cold sweat seeped out of Long Fei's palms as the idea moved. Floating above his palm, the God's Devil Ancient Case sneered and said, "I can let you live. I can let you die too. Kneel." His voice carried boundless authority, as though it was the voice of a king. Inu looked at Long Fei, and then stared at the God's Devil Ancient Case in Long Fei's palm, hesitated for half a second, and then kneeled down heavily in front of Long Fei, paying respects to Master. He was not afraid of Long Fei, but he was afraid of the God's Devil Ancient Case. The power of the God's Devil Ancient Case could make him instantly turn into ashes. He was the same as a human. He would die from slap. Long Fei laughed. "Ha ha, sing a song of conquest for me. I forgot that you can't sing this song. Sing along with me, and I'll be subdued by you just like that." Long Fei said so much that he looked like he was doing 250 yuan. Inu was being controlled by the Blood Corpse ancestor, and his Level 7 War Emperor was being kept. What did this mean? This meant that he had a Level 7 War Emperor helper. Just what kind of strength was this? Furthermore, S current strength was even more terrifying than Level 7 War Emperor. Floating life. Table of contents, no windows. A++, a level fighter. Awesome. At this moment, the system suddenly sounded out. Ding. Chapter 38_8419/2356708. Ding. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Demon Sovereign mission. The Blood Refinement sect has submitted to him. The completion of the mission is 8 in 10. The system beep finished. Long Fei was dumbstruck. His entire body seemed to have been struck by lightning as he gaped in shock. Blood Purification and Blood Sect completed their mission? Is the system retarded? That's not right. How can the system be so stupid? Is there anyone smarter than the system? But Long Fei was a little confused. Logically speaking, he had already given up on the mission. In his heart, he had already given up on the mission of becoming a demon lord. This was because the 7 great demon sects had slaughtered Evil Sound Sect, and each and every one of those girls had died tragically. Long Fei wanted to exterminate the 7 sections. The demon lord's mission did not allow him to use force. Once he had completed the mission, his speed would decrease and his task reward would be halved. But now that he had slaughtered the entire Blood Refinement sect, what is it? The mission was even completed? Suddenly, Long Fei looked at Inu. He was currently being controlled by the Blood Corpse ancestor and was still kneeling on the ground. Bug. Absolute bug, huh? Long Fei laughed. He could not hold in at all. In the game, the quest was set to be dead. As long as one touched the quest would be considered as completed. As for what methods one used to complete the quest, the system would not care. He wanted to conquer the 8 great demon sections. In Evil Sound Sect, the moment those disciples kneeled in front of him, he completed the mission of submitting to the Evil Sound Sect. Just now, even though Inu was dead, his body was still kneeling in front of him, which meant the task had been set and completed. Knowing this, Long Fei smiled. I didn't expect there to be such a bug in this alternate world. It's simply too great. Then there's hope for this mission. The Demon Lord was a SS rank mission and had a rich reward. If he could complete Long Fei, then he would want to complete it. Long Fei asked, Ancestor, can Blood Corpse be exchanged for flesh? Yin Huang Ancestor replied, Of course you can, just change it. You idea can control it. Oh no, Long Fei laughed wickedly. He was worried that the Blood Corpse ancestor would not be able to leave Inu's body earlier, but it looked like he would not have to worry about that anymore. What Demon King? What 8 great demons sect submitting? Go to hell. What do I want? Experience, experience, experience. Long Fei started to worry about where he could go to level up. He wanted to level up to the War Master Ream as soon as possible and then go to the Dark Canyon to find that 9 secret underworld finches. Of the 7 great demon sects, just one was enough. The Evil Ghost Sect, the Mountain and Sea Sect, the Blood Sea Sect. All of you, wash your butts and wait. I'm here. Haha. Long Fei moved her idea and summoned her fire and ice, saying, Ice and fire, target Evil Ghost Sect, come out. One day later, the news of the Blood Refinement sect being massacred spread throughout the entire South Horizon region. Who did it? No one in the 8 demon sects has been able to do this ever since the God's Devil ancestor was split into 2. True blood is shed from the entire blood sect. Not a single one is still alive. Even the corpse of the Blood Refinement sect's sect master, Inu, was not found. It's too terrifying. That's too much of a relief. That's right. The Blood Refinement sect has committed many evil deeds over the years. Many years ago, they refined a woman. 8_8419/2356709. Eldest senior sister, eldest senior sister, eldest senior sister. When Xiao Tian ran, he was so happy that he was jumping around like a little rabbit. Moreover, her breasts were much larger than last year's. Look, it's senior apprentice sister Xiao. She's so beautiful. So cute. Isn't senior sister Xiao in closed door cultivation? I heard that he broke through the War Master Ream a while back. Why did he suddenly come out? So cute. If I could marry her, I would be willing to sacrifice 10 years of my lifespan. Don't you know she already has someone she likes? On the way, many disciples were discussing. If it was the past, Xiao Tian would definitely stop and properly teach them a lesson. But now that she didn't have the time, she wanted to run to senior sister's courtyard as soon as possible. As he ran into Lu Luoshi's courtyard, Xiao Tian was startled. Second senior sister, you're also here? Yi Zian laughed. Do you want to tell senior sister about Long Fei's massacre of the blood sect? Huh, did all of you know? Xiao Tian was a little depressed. She pouted. I still want to be the first to tell big senior, second senior sister. You're going a little too fast, aren't you? Yi Zian looked at Xiao Tian in shock. Junior sister apprentice, you really did break through the war master ream. Xiao Tian giggled and said, Xiao Fei is even working hard to cultivate. I cannot retreat. It's not like you don't know. I'm helping him steal the marriage. Big senior, what do you say? Yi Zian smiled slightly and said, I'll tell you one more thing. Not only did Long Fei massacre the blood refinement sect, he also killed the South Sky's young master, Sidu Feng. Huh, wow. Xiao Fei is so powerful now. I heard that young master Nan Tian is the #1 genius below Hong Tianjun. Xiao Tiantian's face was filled with astonishment. She looked at Lu Luoshi, who was quietly standing at the side with furrowed brows, and said, Big senior, why are you not happy at all? Xiao Fei is getting stronger. In 2 years, he will definitely come to the Heaven Sect to snatch you back from senior fellow apprentice Hong. Even if he can't snatch you back, there will still be me. And second Marshal's sister, we will all help him. Xiao Tian said while grinning. To be able to exterminate the blood sect, Long Fei's cultivation must be very strong. If he became so strong in this year, he would definitely become stronger in 2 years. Yi Zian also took a step forward and said, Big senior, why are you unhappy? The reason why Long Fei became strong is so that he can defeat Hong Tianjun and snatch you back 2 years later. You, without waiting for her to finish speaking, Lu Luoshi said coldly, If there's nothing else, go back and cultivate. I'm going to continue my closed-door cultivation. Senior sister. The two of them were startled. They could not see any joy in Lu Luoshi's eyes, but instead, they saw more worry than before. And then, Lu Luoshi turned his back to them and said, Let's go. Xiao Tian lowered his head and gave a light oh. Yi Zian also walked into the courtyard, saying, Senior sister, you should take care to rest. Cultivating must also be done in harmony. After they left, Lu Luoshi's tears rolled down her face as she sobbed silently. And then, Lu Luoshi squatted down, covered his head with both hands, and cried out loud. Why are you so stupid? Why are you so stupid? I'm not worthy of you. Why are you so stupid? The confirmation of the 3-year agreement. Lu Luoshi trained desperately. She wanted to change her fate. She wanted to surpass Hong Tianjun and control her own fate so that she could find Long Fei. But she found Hong Tianjun was as powerful as the sky, an existence that she could not get over at all. That difference could not be described with distance. One was the sky, one was the earth. She was almost desperate. At the same time, she hoped in her heart that Long Fei would come and take her away, but at the same time, hoped that he wouldn't. Because if he appeared again, Hong Tianjun would definitely kill him. She cried. He cried his heart out. However, she didn't dare to make a sound, not even the slightest bit. She was not the least bit happy that Long Fei had risen to power, but she was more worried than anyone else. Suddenly, Lu Luoshi slowly stood up. As her tears stopped, her expression was as cold as ice. What are you doing here? Not bad. War Master Level 3 is really different. Last time, it took me 3 minutes, but this time, it only took me 1 minute to sense my aura. Not far behind her, he was wearing a white robe, and there was a hint of anger in his eyes. Hong Tianjun, the #1 genius of the Southern Domain, Hong Tianjun. Furthermore, he did not intentionally hide his presence. And even so, Lu Luoshi still took a full minute to sense his presence. This realm was too terrifying. Too much can be done in a minute. Killing a person was easy. Lu Luoshi did not turn around and asked again, What are you doing here? Hong Tianjun smiled faintly and said, This is the second time I've seen you cry for a man. What a pity, what a pity. He made it sound as though it was an understatement. But in his heart, his rage billowed. Luashi's gaze tensed up and said, "What's a pity?" Hong Tian-jun laughed coldly, his tone also becoming ice-cold as he said, "It's a pity that he doesn't have the qualifications to compete with me. We still have 2 more years of time from our marriage. His life only has 2 years. If he dares to come, then he must die." Very arrogant. It was an unbridled and scrupulous kind of arrogance that disdained everything. He did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. It was useless in the Fireglass City, and it still wasn't here because he was Hong Tianjun, the #1 genius of the Southern Domain. Luashi clenched his fists and did not speak. Hong Tianjun sneered. What does Sidu Feng count for? If it wasn't for his father's presence 5 years ago, I could have killed him with a single finger. So what if they're the blood refinement sect? I don't care about the entire devil sect. I don't even care about the entire Southern Domain. A mere ant like Long Fei? Humph, if I stomp on him once, I can stomp on him 10,000 times. There's more. Hong Tianjuan's figure moved and suddenly landed behind Luashi. His body seemed to be close to her as he coldly spoke next to Luashi's ear. "You are my Hong Tianjuan's woman, and even if you get spoiled by me, you are still my woman. Don't think of taking out my palm in your entire life, understand?" Luashi was trembling. His entire body was shaking. Hong Tianjun was actually laughing coldly. With a devil-like sneer, he took a small step back. When he walked out of the courtyard, he stopped and did not turn around, instead saying, "I'm just telling you something. I've already broken through the war god realm." Long Fei. Just trash. After he finished speaking, Hong Tianjun laughed towards the sky and walked out. Luashi instantly collapsed, but this time she cried loudly, her tears tearing and tearing, causing people's hearts to ache as she shouted loudly towards the sky, "Long Fei, save me!" Chapter 5. After today's update, with the support of the monthly tickets, the C will work even harder to code words. Thank you. 8_8419/2356710. Burp, burp, burp. Inside War Pet space, 2 burps sounded out. Long Fei not only had liver pain, all of the muscles in his body ached. He had promised them he could eat the spirit stones because of a small mistake. And then, there was no then. Space Ring S originally had thousands of spirit stones, but now, not a single one remained. Listening to their burps, Long Fei said, "After eating so many of my spirit stones, if you all don't help me break through faster, I'll break your JJ by 10 centimeters. Huh? Xiao Bai's expression tightened and said immediately, "Master, I will definitely break through soon." Bing Hui giggled. 10 centimeters? Brother Xiao Bai, if you're so scared when you're 10 centimeters tall, then yours is just too short. Xiao Bai. Long Fei. Ice and Fire was a dragon. Even if it was a low-grade 2-winged dragon, it was still a dragon. A dragon was a terrifying existence. He did not place 10 centimeters in his eyes. Xiao Bai stared at him and bellowed. "What is mine is 10 centimeters, while yours is 100 centimeters. Master, Ice and Fire don't need you to help them. I will always teach him a lesson. Yet he dares to mock my little JJ. Long Fei said, "Teach him a lesson ruthlessly." The Fire and Ice immediately felt that they were in trouble. I'm training. I guarantee that I can break through to the 15th level. For days later, Ghost King Mountain. An old man blocked his way. Lonely Spirit. The last time that a level expert had appeared in the Tianyin city, he had easily trampled and killed Sidu Feng, who had evolved into a primordial beast. Long Fei looked at Guhan and asked, "Where are my 2 brothers?" He could ignore everything else, but this matter had always troubled him. He had not seen Li Yuanba and Arhut ever since Long Fei was captured in the Evil Sound sect. From what he knew, these 2 elders were the ones who took them away. They are training in the secret realm. Wild Ghost is teaching them. Long Fei secretly heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. Since there was no danger to his life, he could just let it go. He looked at Guhan and asked, "Senior, why did you stop me?" Guhan looked at Long Fei and said, "The blood refinement sect has been annihilated. Are you still going to continue destroying the ghost evil?" "Yes, sir," Long Fei immediately said, "because they offended me. So I will eliminate him." Guhan's eyes became serious, and he said, "The 8 great demon sects are the descendants of the Sky Demon Clan. Although the 8 great forces are like a pile of loose sand, but they're demons, after all. Can they let go of this hatred?" "Sorry, I can't let it go," Long Fei said very straightforwardly, even if he could put down his experience, true chi. However, the scene of the evil sound sect girls being abused to death was still fresh in his mind. If he didn't wash them clean with blood, he would never forgive himself. Before, he could have ignored it. However, he was now the sect master of the evil sound sect. He could not let those female disciples who were still alive lose heart. Guhan said slightly, "There's no room for negotiation?" Long Fei nodded and said, "No, I must bathe them in blood." "Huff!" Guhan let out a heavy sigh and said, "Evil sound sect being slaughtered. I also did not expect that the 8 sect masters would have done it too far. However, they're still the last line of the demon race in the South Horizon region, so I like it when you let them live." His lifelong ambition was to unite the 8 great demon sects and make them stronger. Afterwards, he would spread the heavenly demon blood flag throughout the entire South Horizon region. Long Fei's appearance gave him a trace of hope. However, he also felt despair. Long Fei was completely out of control. As long as his style of doing things annoyed him, then it would pursue him for 1,000 miles, an existence that did not rest until one side died. Long Fei looked at Guhan and said slightly, "Senior, I know what you're thinking about. The current devil sect is no longer the former devil sect. They only have benefits in their eyes, and they are not worthy of being called devils. They are only a few sinister and despicable villains. Against the God's devil ancient case, all they have in their eyes are benefits, scheming, and a fight. Do they have any thoughts for the future of the demon race in their eyes? No, there's no need for a devil sect like this to exist anymore. If you want the demon flag to fly in the South Horizon region, there's only one way." Long Fei said very seriously. Right now, he could see through these 8 great demon sections. It was just that, in his heart, he felt slightly sorry for the 7 people who died in Sea Devil Emperor. Guhan looked at him and said, "What method?" Long Fei slowly said, "Ashes was reborn." Huh? Guhan was stunned. It was also at this time that Long Fei walked past him. When they were walking parallel to each other, he slowly said, "Finished." Long Fei walked to the entrance of the ghost evil, and the idea sank, roaring towards the sky. "Guexia, get the hell out here." Rumble, rumble. The evil chi permeating the ghost evil sky suddenly resonated with thunderous roars, like the wails of evil spirits. "You dog, you really dare to come? Do you think I'm trash like Inu? Humph. Today, I will let you know the power of my ghost evil. All disciples, listen up and kill." The bloodbath began. One man, one saber, killing all the way from the entrance of the mountain. The entire way, blood splashed all over the ghost evil. Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing ghost evil disciple for obtaining 300 experience, 300 true chi, 10 energy values, 10 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei. The system beep continued to ring. From the moment Long Fei started to kill, the system had never stopped. One set of sounds after another exploded after another. Long Fei was extremely arrogant and killed in a world of darkness. From day to night, and from night to dawn, Long Fei stood outside the ghost evil palace, looking at the incomparably ugly face inside. The dragon Salyer pointed and said, "Guexia, come out and die." When Long Fei was massacring the ghost evil, Lonely Spirit was still standing on the same spot, his mouth constantly muttering the words, "Ashes be reborn." Suddenly, an incomparably mournful scream came out from the summit of ghost evil. Guhan's eyes slightly looked up, and a sharp light flashed out. What a good, Ashes was reborn. Good boy, then go ahead and do it. Then, the lone soul transformed into a stream of light and disappeared into the horizon. He wanted to return to the secret realm. He wanted to train Li Yuanba and Arhut for Long Fei. He wanted the 8 great demons to die and reach their peak. He wanted the heavenly demon blood flag to fly in the wind and let the entire South Horizon region know that the demons were still alive. And all of this, it was all because of Long Fei. Outside the Ghost Demon Palace, Long Fei's chest was on fire. His face was pale white, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. The level 7 War Emperor is too strong. With my current cultivation, it's still not enough. All right, Blood Corpse Ancestor, crawl into his body. Chapter 18_8419/2356711. Half a minute later, Gu Xie knelt in front of Long Fei. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Demon Sovereign quest, 3/8 of the completion rate. There are still 5 sects left. Long Fei's gaze moved slightly as he looked in the direction of the Blood Moon sect. The idea moved and said, Ice and fire. Understood. Boom! Ice and fire flew out, carrying Long Fei and flying towards the Blood Moon sect. Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood on the dragon's back, swallowed a few healing pellets, and muttered, Level 7 War Emperor. During his battle with Gu Xie just now, Long Fei did not use any ultimate skills. No, he wasn't his match yet. In the end, he had to use the unexpected card, Inu, to kill Gu Xie. The ancestor said faintly, Why are you doing this? From his point of view, Long Fei did not need to do this. Long Fei had many arts that could catch Gu Xie off guard, making it impossible for him to defend himself. Just like how he killed Evil Girl Saints and Inu. However, Long Fei did not do so. Long Fei laughed faintly. I want to know how far apart I am from the level 7 War Emperor. This was only secondary. What Long Fei really wanted to do was to borrow the strength of these level 7 War Emperor rankers to train himself. Combat training. They were the best training partners, not caring about life or death. His level would need to be increased, and his battle experience would also need to be increased. Time and time again, in desperate situations, he would be able to unleash potential that he could not even imagine. Huff! Long Fei looked at his own level. War Elder level 6. I'm still 4 levels away from reaching the War Master Ream. His idea entered the God's Devil Ancient KSS, looked at Xiechin's body, and slowly said, Sis, I will definitely save you. I definitely will. At the same time, Long Fei raised his head to look at the sky and muttered, Wait for me. There's still less than 2 years. Wait for me. I'll definitely come and find you. He clenched his fists tightly. Long Fei's heart was incomparably firm. Hong Tianjuan's mountain was firmly pressed on his heart. He knew that Hong Tianjun was very strong, extremely strong. How strong would the Hong Tianjun of 3 years later be? Long Fei didn't know. He only knew one thing. 2 years later, he was going to trample Hong Tianjun to death. 6 days later, the Blood Moon sect had been massacred by Long Fei. This time, Long Fei and Sect Master Shuiyu's battle time was increased by half a minute. Finally, Long Fei was still sent flying. However, Sect Master Shuiyu was petrified and then killed instantly by Long Fei. The Berserk Blood Moon wheel was eaten by the ancestor. Thousands of spirit stones were also eaten by Xiao Bai and Binghua. In this period of time, the 3 of them were eating like it was New Year's Eve, and their mouths were filled with oil. Not only that, other than the fact that the patriarch hadn't changed much, Xiao Bai and the other 2 had grown a lot. Long Fei fought with all his might, training with all his might. They were there too. However, the method was different. Long Fei was cultivating with his life. They were cultivating with food. The difference was a little. This was fate. War Elder level 7. Continued. The massacre of the three great demon sects caused the entire South Horizon region to be shaken. Who is Sidu Foam? So what if he's the number one genius of the Southern Domain, Hong Tianjun? Who would be able to slaughter three great demon sects in succession? Can they? Haha, only Long Fei. He's the number one person in the entire South Horizon region. He's too handsome. The 8 great demon sects have stood their ground for many years, and now that 3 sects have been massacred, the other 4 sects are all gathered in Bloodsea sect. They have never been so afraid in their lives. It's simply too embarrassing. After the Blood Refinement sect was massacred, countless forces in the Southern Domain paid attention to Long Fei. The Ghost Evil was slaughtered. The Blood Moon sect was once again massacred. Countless people watched with incomparable excitement. No one had been able to accomplish this. It was exciting. At the same time, they allowed some sects to see the opportunity. The 8 great demon sects had occupied many good places with abundant spiritual energy, making them very suitable for cultivation. Some sects began to covet it. The Mountain and Sea sect is empty. Half a month later, when Long Fei came to the faraway Mountain Sea sect, he found that there was not a single person around. A few days later, there's no one in the Soul Demon sect? F***CK. What's going on? Long Fei did not understand much about what had happened outside. In this past month, he could only kill people and did not know that many people were paying attention to him. Even more unexpected, the remaining 4 devils had already fled to the Bloodsea sect. The 4 devils joined together, all for the sake of resisting Long Fei alone. This was something no one had expected. Nantian sect. Situ Hao smiled. When he found out that the 4 devils had gathered at Bloodsea sect, he smiled. The opportunity he had been waiting for had finally arrived. Situ Hao looked at the elders in the Great Hall and said faintly, "During this period of time, Long Fei's limelight has been too great. It just so happens that we can use this opportunity to allow Nantian sect's influence to rise another notch. Long Fei wants to kill. Bloodsea sect wants to be slaughtered as well. 2 birds with 1 stone. This way, all of his achievements would be taken away by him. No one in this world would remember a loser." Situ Hao said coldly, "Long Fei, you are destined to be a failure. Pass my order down. Marshal Hall, 100,000 elite disciples move. Target, Bloodsea sect. It's time to uproot the 8 great demon sections." In addition, Situ Hao's forehead turned sinister as he looked at an elder and said, "You will lead 1,000 disciples to the Evil Sound sect and kill all of those remnants of the Evil Sound sect. I will make the 8 great demon sects disappear forever. I want the 8 great demon sects to be barren. As long as it was someone related to hurting his son, he wouldn't let a single one of them off." There's no one here again. It seems like they've gathered at one place. Long Fei frowned, looked in the direction of the Bloodsea sect, and laughed. "All right then. It also saves me the time to look for it. Bloodsea sect. Zhouwantian, I'm here." With a flap of his ice and fire wings, he flew towards Bloodsea sect. In another place, "Old bastard, Nantian sect is moving." I had expected that this old cunning fox Situ Hao would not let this matter rest. He must be waiting for an opportunity. He will definitely make a move against the devil sect this time. Wild Ghost said coldly. Guhan continued, "Also, they even sent an elite team to rush to the Evil Sound sect." Wild Ghost's brows shook and said slightly, "The reason why Long Fei massacred the 8 great demon sects is because of the female disciples of Evil Sound sect being killed. If the remaining female disciples were to be killed again, I'm afraid that he would go berserk and go to Nantian sect no matter what. Nantian sect, the number 1 sect in the South Horizon region. 1,000,000 disciples. This alone was something that no one could shake. Even if the Heaven sect was as strong as the sun itself, it would still be the same." Lonely Spirit was silent for a moment. Baidu's search. Half afloat, he turned his head to look at the secret realm and said with a smile, "It's time for them to come out and take a breather." Wild Ghost was startled for a moment, then laughed and said, "Haha, good idea. I can't teach these two kids any longer. Their talent is the most overbearing and bizarre thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I really don't know how long Faye found these two people. The two of them. Too fierce. Chapter 28_8419/2356712. Blood Sea Sect. Blood Sea Sect. Before, he only had 4,000 disciples, but now, more than 10,000 disciples. The entire Blood Sea Sect felt like it was exploding. Xiao Wantian's courtyard. The other three sect masters sat there. Xiao Wantian said lightly, "Sect leaders, please rest assured. As long as Long Fei dares to come, I will make sure he does not return." He was a peak level 7 war emperor ranker. He was completely different from Inu, Gui Xie, and Blood Moon. Even if Vengeance Sect Master is here, he wouldn't dare to come. Exactly. Vengeance Sect Leader, we will depend on you this time. The three great sect masters were truly shocked. Long Fei was completely crazy. Xiao Wantian smiled faintly and said, "But if the sect masters have promised to do so, then you have to keep your word." Sect Master Cho, don't worry. We will definitely not get our hands on the treasures of the God's Devil ancient case. I, soul demons, will keep my word. As a condition, when the three great demon sect entered the Blood Sea sect, they were not allowed to think about fighting God's Devil ancient case. However, these people were all despicable and sinister villains. Who would know when that moment really came? At this moment, reporting to Sect Master, Xiao Wantian asked, "What is it?" The disciple said, "A young man has come down the mountain." Before he could finish his words, the faces of the three sect masters turned cold. He's here, he's here. Long Fei is here for the slaughter. The muscles in the corner of Xiao Wantian's eyes twitched as he coldly snorted, "He's finally here." The disciple looked at the four sect masters' nervous expressions and was shocked in his heart. How strong is Long Fei? However, the disciple said in a low voice, "Sect Master, the one who has come isn't Long Fei. It's one of Nantian's sect's envoys." Their faces darkened. Xiao Wantian's eyes turned sinister as he shouted, "Why are you not clear about this?" He was obviously shocked. The scene of Long Fei killing the evil girl saints in the 10,000 Een Forbidden Land was still fresh in his mind. The other three sect leaders also let out sighs of relief. Right now, they couldn't hear the word "the youth has descended the mountain." It was like they were hearing a magic spell, and they couldn't help but feel fear from the bottom of their hearts when they heard it. Xiao Wantian said slightly, "Nantian's sect's emissary? What are you doing here at this time? Could it be? Is it because of young Master Nantian?" Chi Mei said, "Brother Cho, Situ Feng was killed, but Nantian's sect did not make a move. He definitely has a reason for coming here." "That's right. This old cunning fox Situ, how has never made a loss. He must be plotting against our devil sect this time." The disciple continued, "That messenger said that Nantian's sect is here to deal with Long Fei." Huh? Xiao Wantian rolled his eyes and said forcefully, "Can't our four devils handle a mere Long Fei? Why did you need Nantian's sect's help?" "Let him wait for me in the side hall." The topic of conversation had changed too quickly. Even that disciple couldn't react for a long time. Xiao Wantian shouted, "Why aren't you going?" "Yes, yes." Xiao Wantian slightly shouted, "I want to see what that Situ Hao wants to do." Half an hour later. "Ha, envoy, rest assured that I will do as you say. Also, help me thank sect head Situ." Xiao Wantian said respectfully. The envoy of the Southern Sky region said lightly, "Sect Master Qiu, please wait. Our enemies are the same this time. Leave Long Fei to us." Thank you, thank you." Xiao Wantian was extremely eager towards Long Fei. He was also a little fearful in his heart. It was rumored that Long Fei was already a war emperor ranker in the outside world. Even for him, it was a little too much. Right now, Nantian's sect wanted to take revenge for Situ Feng and stop him. Watching the envoy leave, Xiao Wantian was all smiles. Is there such a good thing in the world? Ha ha ha. This is my chance, Xiao Wantian. As long as I obtain the God's Devil ancient case, what does a mere Nantion sect count for? Huh? And then, one of the elders asked, Sect leader, could it be Nantion sect scheme? Sly. Humph. In this Bloodridge Mountain, even a crafty scheme wouldn't be able to do anything to me. Xiao Wantian was extremely confident. His mind was filled with the fantasy of the God's Devil ancient case. The elder did not say anything more. Ha ha! In another place, Situ Yao laughed loudly. Truly a pig. Xiao Wantian, you want me to protect your Bloodsea sect? You're really too naive. 100,000 disciples had hidden themselves within the Bloodsea Mountains. Situ Yao, level 7 War Emperor. This time, it was the commander of 100,000 disciples. He followed Situ Hao's instructions, and, as expected, Xiao Wantian agreed without even thinking. Elder, what should we do now? Push forward 100 kilometers, surround Bloodsea sect completely. Also, watch out for long phase movements. Report to me the moment you enter the Bloodsea mountain range. Remember, you mustn't stop him. The Devil sect can't handle a mere piece of trash from the War Elder realm, but he's nothing more than an ant in my eyes. Our goal this time is the Bloodsea sect, to uproot their roots. Situ Yao did not even put Long Fei in his eyes. Moreover, he wanted to borrow Long Fei's strength and quickly push towards the Bloodsea sect. The first day passed. Long Fei did not appear. The next day passed. Long Fei still had not appeared. The third day, in Situ Yao's tent, a disciple ran in and said, Long Fei has appeared. Situ Yao's eyes flashed with a trace of light, and he excitedly said, All right. Immediately report to Xiao Wantian. Even if Long Fei breaks through our defense and dares to rush to the Bloodsea sect, we Nantion sect will follow him with all our power. Situ Yao had already thought of everything. 2 birds with 1 stone. Ha ha! My, Situ Yao's name has also resounded throughout the entire South Horizon region. Ha ha! Bloodsea sect. Xiao Wantian's eyes were filled with anger, and he bellowed. Nantion sect can't even take a single blow? You can't even defend against a single Long Fei? Trash. The number 1 sect of the South Horizon region? In my opinion, it's the number 1 trash sect. He thought that Long Fei would be intercepted and killed before he even arrived, but... And then, Xiao Wantian frowned and shouted, So what? You dog, watch how I'll take care of you. In the air above Bloodsea sect, ice and fire flapped their wings, soaring high in the sky. However, there was no sign of Long Fei on the dragon's back. Ice and fire circled above Bloodsea sect once, then flew into the clouds. It disappeared. In another place, Xiaobai said in a low voice, Master, it's just as you had expected. There's a large group of people up ahead, and they're all Orthodox sect disciples. Nantion sect. Long Fei moved and said, Enchanted. Buzz. Strongest upgrade system. With the body of the sky demon. The corners of Long Fei's lips curled up slightly as he sneered. Situ Hao, I really have to thank you for sending such a large wave of experience. Ha ha! Xiaobai, kill him. Chapter 3, I have urgent matters to attend to in the morning, and an update will be delivered tonight. 8_8419/2356713. Long Fei was not stupid. Long Fei was not stupid. If the 4 devils joined forces, he would definitely think of a way to deal with it. On the very first day, he appeared within the Bloodridge Mountains. However, he felt that Nantion sect's army had arrived with the intention of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. 1 shot, 2 condors. If he were to die, he would also get rid of 4 devils. If that was the case, Long Fei immediately laughed. To him, Nantion sect was bringing coal in the middle of a snowstorm. Giving him a big wave would require his experience. Roar! Xiaobai howled. A white figure flashed out and landed on top of a Nantion sect disciple, pressing him down onto the ground and breaking his neck in 1 bite. Next, whoosh! Xiaobai flew out again, and without giving the other disciple any chance to react, he instantly killed him. Long Fei moved his right hand, taking out the dragon's salyer. The dragon's salyer dragged on the ground as it slowly walked forward, its body emitting an aura of death. Step by step, he walked out of the dark forest, as if he had walked out from hell. Enemy attack. Boom! Without waiting for him to finish speaking, he was once again killed by Xiao Bai. Blood dripped from the wolf's mouth. It was extremely vicious. It was also at this time. The surrounding disciples of Nantian's sect's martial hall quickly came over. "Who is it?" Long Fei smirked. "Your ancestor." Chua. With one step, the dragon salyer dragged its body to the ground, and with a swipe, it got close to the man. With a slash, the disciple's body was split into two halves. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Nantian's sect's disciple for obtaining 300 experience, 200 true chi, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 1 spirit stone. I feel like I'm missing something. Long Fei opened up the system to check points. Right, points. Long Fei moved, looked at the surrounding Nantian sect disciples whose gazes carried killing intent, and said softly, "Enchanted." Wong. The aura around his body suddenly changed. The bun was scattered like it was about to be crazily burned, turning into a blood red as the thick devil energy continued to churn. "Yes, sir. It's the devil race. Damn it, it's the demons. Quickly go and report to Elder Situ that we were ambushed by the demons." I don't know anything else. However, they were very clear about the demonic chi on Long Fei's body. It was demonic chi, and only the demons could release such an aura. Adding that this was the Blood Sea sect, they immediately thought that the Blood Sea sect was ambushing them. It was also at this moment. The corner of Long Fei's mouth lifted slightly, revealing a death god smile. The idea moved and revealed a god's devil ancient case on the palm of his hand. "Blood Moon, kill for me. Don't leave a single one alive." Boom! The god's devil ancient case rumbled. Demonic energy exploded out, and a golden light flashed. The Blood Moon sect's sect master's eyes were lifeless, but his aura was incomparably strong. After Long Fei gave the order, he rushed out. Help! Screams like that of a pig being butchered rang out. It was as if someone was cutting through cabbage, one at a time. This was a massacre. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Nantian sect's disciple for obtaining 300 experience, 200 true chi, 10 energy values, 10 points. This tempo is right. Although each person only has 10 points, but for Nantian sect to send out 100,000 disciples, that would be equivalent to 1,000,000 points, which is almost enough to exchange for a low-level holy artifact. More importantly, lottery draw. When Long Fei thought of the golden dragon from the fishing machine last time, he couldn't help but become excited. When I earn enough points, I'll definitely overturn the fishing machine. Attack! All of them must die. Long Fei's voice sunk, as if the heavenly demon was enraged. He doesn't care if you're a disciple of a sect or a devil clan. What he wants now is only one word: kill. Experience. The more, the better. The more there is, the faster I can level up. On the left, Xiao Bai was on the right, and Long Fei was in the middle. Carrying the dragon's salyer on his shoulder, he held onto the god's devil blade. It was precisely this tempo of him going berserk. Awesome. His experience points was increasing crazily. In another place, Situ Yao was ecstatic. The chance is here. Are you sure that Long Fei's giant Long Fei is in the air above the main hall of the Blood Sea sect? I saw it with my own eyes, Situ Yao said excitedly. All right, we have an excuse now. Pass down my orders. All disciples gather at Peak Blood Sea Peak, capture Long Fei. He needed a reason. Now that Long Fei was here, it was reasonable for him to enter the domain of Bloody Ocean Peak, which also meant that the encirclement had been reduced to the area of a mountain. Situ Yao began to sneer and muttered, "Long Fei, you're dead for sure today. 4 devils. You guys are done playing today? Aha. From today onwards, my Situ Yao's name will shake the world, haha. Situ Yao brought many disciples and swiftly encircled Blood Sea Peak. And then there was the Blood Sea Peak. Gone? What's going on? Xiao Wantian frowned. Chi Mei immediately laughed out loud and said, "It must be because that brat Long Fei is afraid. With our 4 devils' alliance, just based on that brat, if he dares to come here, he's definitely courting death." Exactly. Xiao Wantian frowned as he muttered to himself. Long Fei is not that simple. He has massacred the 3 great demon sects, and the remaining 4 devils' will definitely not be let off lightly. There must be another reason. Report. Outside the main hall, a disciple, covered in sweat, stumbled and ran into the hall and said, "Reporting to sect leader, Nantian sect's 100,000 disciples are currently surrounding the Blood Sea Peak with fire." Huh? What? The few sect masters' expressions tensed up as they looked at Xiao Wantian. Xiao Wantian said slightly, "Nantian sect must have come over after seeing Long Fei's mount flying towards the Blood Sea sect. Don't worry, their goal is also Long Fei." An elder said, "Sect master, 100,000 disciples. Is there really a need to have so many people against a single Long Fei?" "That's right. Could it be their target is us?" Xiao Wantian's heart sank as he asked immediately, "How far are they from Bloody Ocean Peak?" That disciple replied, "We're already at the foot of the mountain." This is bad. Xiao Wantian finally realized Nantian sect's true goal. Clenching his fist tightly, he said, "Situ Yao, you old fox, aren't you being too ruthless? You want 2 birds with 1 stone? Humph! Then you're thinking too much." Xiao Wantian's heart was filled with anger. Like a phantom, his figure rushed out of the main hall and landed on the martial arts arena. Floating in the air, his hands frantically formed seals, the demonic chi on his body enveloping the entire Blood Sea Peak. The devils in all directions. Open the Blood Sea formation. Wong! A bloody light exploded from his body. In the blink of an eye, it had enveloped the entire Blood Sea Peak. The grand protective formation of the mountain and the Sea of Blood was activated. Chapter 48_8419/2356714. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.